Hello, everybody. It is Ebontis here. A quick intro before we get into the Flashpoint podcast with you guys. Wanted to let you know I am still doing that giveaway. It will go until Sunday at noon. Hopefully, you guys have finished up your time with Gambit, so that will be going on this weekend as well. Don't forget, Destiny 2 is free on PlayStation Plus, starting already, and all you need is that to definitely test out everything that Gambit offers. So, Forsaken's going to be awesome. Very hyped for it, and I want to basically make somebody's day. So, what I'm going to do is be giving away all of Year 2 of Forsaken. So Forsaken in the annual pass and anything else you need to jump into Destiny 2 so you can enjoy every bit of it. So check out the link below in the description for the giveaway link. Get your entries in there and look forward to announcing the winner on Sunday. So have a great one, guys, and enjoy the podcast.
For our fire team.
All right, and we are live. Flashpoint is back a little early. Ebontis in the house, and the man scream, Wilhelm scream returns. We get a full show this time.
Hopefully a full one with me.
Hopefully
actually.
a full one with the Three Musketeers.
There we go. Yep.
Yeah, man, a lot going on in Destiny, man. What you been up to, Ebontis?
Just testing out everything that's been changing, seeing all just trying to drink from the fire hose that is Destiny 2 right now. So lots of changes that happen, testing out a little bit all over the place, and then the stuff for the future and everything kind of coming around the corner. Yeah, just kind of still trying to get my head wrapped around everything that's changed. So we'll get to talking about that in a little bit. What about you, Scream?
Yeah, I've had about 5 minutes to really get into. I went and I did pretty much everything on Mars and everything that was sort of available to do because I loved how it was all laid out for me now in the directory. So I just went and I did all of that stuff. Got a little bit of time to play Crucible, which is turned me on my head a little bit. I'm loving it, but I'm like, it's one of those things where you just feel like there's too much to try to clamp down on one take. So I haven't had quite as much time as I would hope, but I plan on spending a little bit more today. Everything that I have seen has made me super excited, though. I love having my sniper back in the secondary slot where I can just YY all the time. I love that. And not being able to geek it, nerd out and just YY all the time every time I move was killing me for so long. So
isn't it a beautiful thing, man? Oh,
it is.
It really is, man. I'm pretty much in the same boat as you guys. I played a lot actually this week. E knows I get super excited with meta changes and Sandbox stuff. So yeah, I was in there. I was in the raid, and it just felt good, man. It was just like messing around. At Midnight Cool, I had the Icolo shotgun and Whisper, and I'm just running around in the raid, and I'm like, I feel powerful. I'm loving this right now. Touched a lot of Crucible. I did the Mars Flashpoint, but didn't get any drops. Didn't get any weapon drops. I got armor drops, but was happy to see what we got. But we got a lot to talk about, man. So let's get into it, man.
All right. So wasting no time, patch 2.0, we downloaded it, logged in, and one of the first things you may have noticed as you walked around the tower, somebody departed.
Yeah, boy's gone.
Cade has left his leaning post in the tower. He's going to go inspect some stuff in the reef. So they dropped a little bit of lore on Bungie.net. They had a couple letters out there just to kind of explain from him kind of what he's doing, what's going on, and they get a little cryptic as you go. So you've got a letter from Cade basically saying, hey, you guys didn't see me slip out. I'm going to check with Petrovenge, seeing what's going on. Just kind of calling out Zavala and Ikora. You've got this weird public key thing going on that gets kind of a bit more cryptic. Talking about a report from Paladin Iran and things like that. And then finally, this one's really obscure up top. So I don't know if there's a code in there, if they're just messing with us, as always.
Yeah.
But it's obvious that Cade has left the tower. There are no more Cade stashes to pick up this week. There's actually not a lot to do. We'll kind of get to that with regards to powerful engrams. It's really only kind of one or two. So if you're looking to level up this week, this is not your week. You're going to be hanging at your power level until Forsaken comes out. But yeah, these are kind of cool little things. So if you want to get an idea just of what's going on with Cade and where he has departed to, he's headed off to the reef. And spoiler warning, in case you guys are still staying in the dark, but I'd be impressed if you still are. A video dropped.
Woohoo!
And I think got some things to say about that one from
Yes, we do.
Mr.
Ugh.
Mr. Cognito. You want to get a chat about this one here?
Yeah, man.
I'm just
I'll
gonna
get
click
right
through
to it,
screenshot
man.
points. I won't play the whole thing, so you guys can
Yeah.
see it.
We'll get right to it.
No.
So yeah, I'll let you play it.
No, I'll just kind of go through screenshot points. So
Yeah. So
'cause
yeah,
it doesn't
this
play too well.
yeah, as we get here, and obviously for those who haven't seen the trailer, spoilers. But most of you have already seen it. This is the fateful scene. The bodies, Kate's been brought back to the tower with Vanguard. And I must be very honest with you guys. Like in as far as Destiny Vanguard history, like obviously Cade was the star. Like he became the star. I would say like Taken King is where he started to shine, right? And Zavala is Zavala. And to be honest, as a warlock main, like I never really connected to Ikora. To be honest with you guys, like she was okay. You know what I mean? I'm more of an Osiris guy, but we'll get into that later. So anyway, when this scene comes, I'm very curious to see how the tower reacts, right? How, this is a huge loss, how to react. And I have to admit, like, Korak, she had me. Like, I'm like, okay, this is how we're supposed to feel. And then a certain someone.
Hold on, let me find that little spot. So, things aren't going great. It's got some issues, and here's your man of the hour.
Yeah, this guy. And shout out to my Titan names, but this is an L. First of all, dude, I get it. You don't want to suffer any more losses, and you're mourning Kate. It's hitting everybody hard. I get that, but it's like we're going to do nothing then. Like that was the part that killed me, Scream. Like there was no action. It was just like, we just can't lose any money. And Akara called him out on it. Like, so I was like, cowardice to me.
Yep, straight up.
And I was just like, wow, And yeah, it's just one of those things that it surprised me. And again, I never really connected to Ikora until middle of Osiris DLC. The DLC was kind of terrible, but this is when, because to me, she represented the player. Like we have to kill everything. We have to go in there, Ultron solve, and then also during that magic moment, as you fast forward, something magical happened with our personal guardian, and I'll let you guys take it from there.
Yeah, seriously, like it was kind of crazy in what we actually got to see. So I'm trying to find the point where we actually see. So our Guardians in here, you get to see Petra and stuff. So we get to see a little intro to new NPCs. We've got Spider, who's going to be your guy in the reef.
Our Guardian talked too.
Yeah.
Assume that's probably gonna. I don't know if that's.
I was getting there, but yes.
Oh, sorry.
No. Yeah, that was the big one. So yeah, the Guardian spoke. I know that's what Cognito was definitely getting to. Yeah. So go ahead, Scream. Yeah, seriously, what were your thoughts on the fact when you heard that? Let me know to hear yours first.
I mean, it was kind of one of those things where I was like, huh. Wonder why they took that away. Never really I never minded my Guardian speaking. I don't know. I think that the story mode was such a personal experience, like playing through D1 anyway. I know that their whole thing was sort of they were kind of basing it off of the success of Halo Reach, and that your own guy was sort of in the story campaign with you and how you created him. So they were kind of, I think, basically doing a lesser version of that and saying, okay, we'll subtract something to make it a little bit more personal. I don't think it was, or even in the case of Master Chief, where you never really saw his face. Right. I don't know if it was it didn't, I don't think, go over quite as well. I don't know. I feel like where it was sort of, that was sort of Master Chief-esque. So when I heard its voice and the fact that they're kind of, the local, killer of the group now, or ass kicker of the group, that's cool. Part of me was a little bit more interested in like the subtext of what is happening with those characters, and that he even Zavala is saying, we're not conquerors, we have to protect our people. We have to protect our people, which has really kind of, I think, been the central motivation of all the Guardians. And it's like they have this great power, but they also are sort of humble with it, and that they're not really going out there and just wiping everybody out, which
Right.
apparently they certainly have the power to do.
Correct.
I mean, amongst all the lore races.
Right.
So they're not doing that. You see a little bit of a change here now, I feel like, where they're like, one of our guys, you know, are essentially probably our oldest guy. I mean, we don't really know how old a lot of these the central guys are, but I'm assuming the Cade was probably the oldest because he always had sort of carte blanche with everybody else. Like he could just do whatever he wanted. So in that sort of quest for vendetta, I wonder if there's going to be a change in just the mentality of all the characters in the future stuff, and that are we kind of going from the protectors to now we're just going to throw our weight around when we feel like we need to.
Let me ask you a question, Scream, and this is what really surprised me more about the Zavala lack of action. I guess I thought for sure he would be more emotionally invested because he is awoken himself. Like I'm hoping that the story will continue to develop, you know, how he goes through this whole campaign and DLC, you know, with the group. Because again, it just surprised me. I'm like, okay, this is your home city, you know? So regardless to what happened, and you know, I understand the point of like, okay, we don't want to be conquerors, we just don't want to be throwing weight around. I get that. But at the same time, this is Cade, this is a vanguard, this is one of your own, this is, you know, a cataclysmic loss to the tower, you know? And I just didn't understand the mindset of we're just gonna kind of stand down, we're not going to do that at the risk of more life. I guess I get a little bit the more life part, you know, you're trying to protect your own kind of thing, but it just really surprised me after everything they've been through. What's your thought on that?
I mean, I think it was a surprise, and I think it was sort of I feel like it was meant to be a surprise. I don't know exactly what Zavala's motivations necessarily are. Maybe the fact that he is awoken, he doesn't really, you know, maybe there's a slightly more personal connection with Alderaan, right? Am I saying his name right? Yeah. And so maybe that's something having to do with it. Maybe he's just the old guard, and he's always kind of been that protector. I mean, he always kind of has been that stoic protector. We do it for the right reasons kind of person.
Right. That is true.
So, you know, and I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. My awoken lore history is probably not what it should be, but we've never really got a clear, or have gotten a clear definitive answer as where the split between humans and awoken came from. Do we? I mean, we don't know where exactly their paths crossed in the past and how they split up.
There was some light touches on it on D1. I vaguely remember some basic things about it.
Right. I can't really remember too many details though.
Right.
Other than like some went on and played in the shadows or something like that. You know? But I don't know. I think that this is a story. I think they're really giving you a good, at least I hope. But given from what I've seen so far, I think Bungie has invested quite a bit into the story. In the progression moving forward, and I think they're giving you a really kind of, I think they're starting to flesh out maybe these archetypes a little bit more.
I agree.
So all good things, I think.
I hear you, man. Man, I need you on this, man. I really felt the way. I was very emotional, bro. I felt the way about Zavala.
No, I mean, I literally had to go back and like listen to it a couple times to be like, did he actually just like kind of, I don't want to say like too mean of words on here, but he basically just like bitch out on all of them. Like, serious. I was like, hold on. That's like, of all people, when it comes to your fire team, it's like your brother in arms. It's like you don't leave, you know, a man down on the battlefield. Like, you go, now he may not be for like avenging, but I mean, come on, everybody got their light back. You're a guardian now. Let's go take care of some business. And Ikora had the right mentality, and Zavala's just like, oh, we got to protect this. He doesn't want to bury another one, but that's just the same as like, hey, I lost, you know, like a parent losing a son or a parent losing a child would be awful, but it's like, if your other one's in trouble, you're damn sure going to go make sure it's not going to happen again. So, I mean, you can protect it close, or you can go fight it head on. And I like Ikora's mentality here. I really do.
Yeah. I hate to interrupt the chat. My chat's going crazy. Kill him after Aldrin. Shout out to J Podge. I am fine. Lord's podcast chat is lit right now. Shut up, Dizzy. Oh man, yeah, I was disappointed, but we went into that. We got more trailer to go, but
Yeah.
I had to get to that. It really surprised, but at the same time, on the flip side, I think this was a really defining moment for Ikora, right?
Yeah.
I think if you were ever on the fence with her, she represented the play. She represented we have to get vengeance, and then in conjunction with your character, the Guardian, saying, "No, look, if you ain't gonna do it, I'm gonna do
It's
it."
like,
And I
you
think
can stay here. Yeah. It's like, I got this.
yeah, that was a good segue. That was definitely a good segue. So,
Yep.
more trailer. I think it was a good emotional setup.
Yeah. So now we see a very interesting point that a lot of people have talked about.
Ooh, yeah.
We see this hand on Aldrin. Now, he looks almost like dead stare in the face. Some people are wondering if this is like a dream, a flashback, something to where, like, why is he sitting and she's like, I say she, heads up in case you haven't quite figured out whose hand that is, but everybody's thinking that's the queen,
Yes.
Marasov. So everybody's wondering, is she back? To what level is she going to be in the Dreaming City? Is this just a flashback? Is this what's pushing him? Like, there's been leaks as to what the story is going to be. Like, people think maybe like she is speaking to him in his dreams. Like, that could be kind of an interesting thing. But this is like our first tease to say, this is the hand. What do you guys think this means for the story, for everything going forward?
Go for it, Screen. What do you think?
Well, I was, a few months back, I thought about sort of playing into the rumor of the idea that she was actually Aldrin in disguise. I don't think that's the case.
I think that's been.
But I thought that would have been a really fun twist. I think that this particular shot is a flashback.
Okay.
Mostly based on sort of the decorum, but also the image itself in this flashback. I don't want to say the graphics specifically, but everything about it sort of looks. I don't want to say. I for lack of a better term, it just looks a little bit more like a D1 based time shot.
Yeah.
It like just the decorum, the background a little bit, his hair even it just looks a little like a D1 shot, and I think it's intentionally done so. In fact, it did so much that in this trailer, that one shot actually stuck out to me as like that felt slightly out of place. And I think it was I think it was purposely a little out of place to make it look slightly more like the past. And I don't think it's any like they degraded the graphic on that cinematic or anything like that. I think they just did subtle things.
Right.
That made it look more like it might be the shading or the lighting. I'm not totally sure. But
I'm sorry. Continue.
I'll go ahead. No, and that's all I would say about it. So I think that is a flashback.
Yeah, I think you're selling me on the screen. I'm in agreement with you. I mean, at first I was like, oh, she's here. She's it's back. But it would kind of debunk a lot of his motivating factors to do all this stuff that he's doing. Right. And yeah, this could be the only thing that confused me a bit was I don't remember D1 help me on this Ebontis. When we went to the reef for the first time, wasn't she sitting on the throne and he was kind of standing?
Yes.
So that was the only thing that confused me a little bit with him sitting almost in like a king-like position. And, again, I'm still with you, Scream, though, because based on, like you said, the decorum, it feels like an older shot, and we know her for right now. We assume her to be dead. So I'm going with that. He could be having some type of flashback sequence, as we go on through the trailer, we'll see all the stuff that he's doing, and his look is very different. So I'm rolling with you on that, Scream, as well.
All right, let's keep going forward through. There's some really cool shots where you see like, and this is the other one that everybody's kind of wondering is like, why does it look like Aldrin is actually burning down the throne? Like this is where they were. This is like the part of the reef where we kind of saw the cinematics where you'd go visit the queen to get your story quests, and now you look and he's walking, basically torching the thing down.
Yeah. Interesting. The boy done going crazy.
Something's going on, and that's why I was like, we know he's not doing this just for nothing. There's some motivation, something bigger pushing him towards basically opening potentially Pandora's box in the Dreaming City, and we'll have to see what that is all about. But as a quick clue, so This is more of the more recent look. So he's got kind of the similar robe on. The hair looks kind of similar. His face looks like it's got something going on it. So I'm not sure what exactly happened there. But now he's got the Barons with him. It's looking all dark. Just a shot of him like stepping forward. I don't know where he is with all this like water. Guessing the Dreaming City, but this shot right here is the what he's looking at. It's like, what do you guys like? Are his eyes always that way? Is there anything in the reflection? I kept staring at this trying to figure out if there was anything here, and I could not find anything. Because it just shows like he seems like to have seen something in this, but I can't tell by the reflection anything at all. So
Right. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I just took it face value initially that for whatever reason, he's going back to take a shot at the Traveler, and for whatever he thinks that's going to accomplish, I don't know, but there's, like I said, there's definitely forces here. I've heard some theories. I've heard Taken. He's been taken. I've heard a lot of theories, but just on face value, his mission is also driving him to this to get a piece of the shard of the Traveler, as we as Guardians, did when we got kicked and booted out the city by God. So we had to get our light back. So he's got some master scheme going on, and he definitely thinks a piece of shard of the Traveler is going to help this.
Yep. So right here is that scene. So yeah, thanks Don 10 in chat. He was saying it's like, isn't this the shard? And you said it. I'm like, well, yeah, I just hadn't clicked there yet. Totally forgot. But yeah, I don't know if do you think he's going to use this to try and like resurrect his sister?
What you think, Shrey?
I think as far as we know, Aldrin is infused with light already, correct? He is like he's an awoken, but does he have the same powers as most of the other Guardians already?
I don't know if
I'm not sure on his lore, man.
I'm
lore
not
master for that one.
A little bit of this, I think, has to, because I believe he does. Let's assume that he does, right?
Okay.
I think he's. I don't know if he's necessarily. I think he's trying to get a piece of the Awoken for some reason. I don't know. Or not the Awoken, the Taken. Whatever powers the Taken, I think he's trying to combine that with what he already has, sort of a light and dark side kind of thing. I ultimately, for more power, I don't know what his like final motivations are. I feel like there was probably some sort of axe to grind that he had with his sister that he just. And this is just me getting into sort of narrative structure, I think.
Yeah, go for it.
Just I feel with most of these kind of, when you have siblings, there's always a lot of there's never not animosity. There has to be.
No, you're right. You're right.
Not
just to cut you for a quick second,
No.
because they were in disagreement from the very beginning in D1 with whether or not was helping the Guardians, right? Like,
right, exactly.
He was very aggressive. He was very anti. She was more of the calming entity. Continue though.
So I think whether or not she has died, again, we don't really know the extent that her powers were. I mean, we saw her do some fairly crazy stuff in D1 as well. I mean, during the whole
that Taken King scene?
Yeah, the Taken King scene. That was one of the best cinematics. Like, that was my favorite cinematic. Like,
I'm so glad you said we were talking about that.
I loved that cinematic.
Yeah, as far as like ranking cinematics in Destiny history, we had it up there.
And she did some. I mean, we saw her just do some stuff, and stuff that we'd never really seen. I mean, I've never seen any of the other Guardians do specifically.
Not to that level.
Yeah, not to that level. Like where you're literally taking out an armada. I mean, other than I can't think of the Taken King's name now. But other than
Oryx. That evaded me the other day too. I was like, what is his damn name? It took me a while.
Right.
So.
I mean, that was what it took to take her down, really. And so I don't know. I feel as though there's going to be some. I think they're going to delve a little bit more into obviously the lore of the Awoken in general. I think you need to, but I think there's going to be something with that bloodline, him and his sister, where she got all the good stuff and he just kind of got what was left over. And maybe the fact that they're awoken at all, or that they're called that, maybe that implies that there's some sort of they themselves have exposed themselves to something that is maybe sort of counterculture to what is necessarily good or righteous within the Destiny lore universe. So maybe the Guardians are, I think about it in terms of like, so the Guardians are the Jedi, right?
Yeah.
The Awoken aren't necessarily the Sith, but they're like the Dark Jedi. You know, where they've taken they've taken the good stuff, but now they've taken some of the bad because ultimately they feel as though they can balance it in some way. Maybe that was really what she did, and maybe now that she's dead, he's on his own quest to do whatever to get that power for himself. Maybe it's been scattered in some way. I don't know. I hope I think any of these kind of avenues would be really fun to explore. Overall, I think just more Awoken lore is necessary.
Absolutely. That's my favorite, man. I mean, that's what when I created my first character, Warlock was the class, and then when you're doing the race, and I was just like, yo, this Awoken thing looks so cool. Like, I was like, what is this? Like, I immediately gravitated towards that. So I really hope they deliver. Like, shout out to Jay Farns. I agree. I hope they deliver a great story here. Awoken lore is very, very curious to me. I'm extremely intrigued by that. And again, that's why I was so hurt by this Zavala thing too, because I thought for sure, that part of him would really associate with going back to his home. Or maybe it's the opposite effect. Maybe it's just that maybe I'm answering my own question. Maybe it's one of those things, he kind of knows a little bit about the history and what's going on there, and maybe he has some reservations with that. So
right. Maybe, like, hold on.
Yeah. Like, do y'all know what y'all really getting into? Like, maybe it's one of them situations. So, maybe I answered my own question there. But yeah, I think overall, this is really cool. I really hope they deliver because, I mean, they're setting up the stage. I just got to ask you two a question in reference to this. Based on what we've seen from these trailers, I had messaged Ebontis right after because I know Ebontis is the non-spoiler guy. Like, is this too much to reveal to the base right now? Or is this what you have to do to save Destiny and to get the excitement up? I need y'all on this.
Scream, go for it first.
I think it's totally necessary.
Woo!
Listen to the sound of my voice. I love talking about this stuff.
Let's go. I can hear you smiling.
I think a game, honestly, any game like this is 100% at its best if there is questions that we can both have and answer of the narrative, like within the framework of the sandbox. Meaning, like, and I hope they don't come quickly. I think, and I mean,
no war mine situation.
Right. I want the lore to be like, I mean, I want it to be deep. I'm a big fan of, long form storytelling. So I mean, especially in movies, like, or especially in television, just that episodal progressive storytelling I love. I mean, like, Game of Thrones is like my favorite show. But like, even like the old school Battlestar Galactica, that was like or not the old school one, like the newer one that they did. That was like the most amazing thing. And there was things about that show that we had, or both shows, that you're always trying to figure out. And you can figure them out. And then it's like one of those things where you figure it out and then you see the storyline play out as you believe it should based on your assumptions. And there's nothing more gratifying to me than when that happens. Yes. When you're like, I knew that was going to be the thing. I knew that was going to happen. And if you can do that in a game, which actually I think Destiny has achieved in the past, I mean, I think it's a more difficult thing to do with a game this faceted. It's something that's really basic, is focusing on narrative structure only. I think it's a little bit easier. But but then you're playing by yourself. So when you're with a group, there's a lot of people, everybody's playing. There's things that people are going to figure out, and you don't want to necessarily know. So I think that it's difficult, but I think when you give a lot of different things like this, and you see these sort of trailers, I always thought the cinematics were great. If anything, I thought the cinematics gave me more questions that I ever was able to get answers to, which I think Destiny has been one of those games where it's like the lore seems so rich. I wish we could just get into it a little bit more.
It's the execution. It's the execution.
But I think they're doing that. I think it's showing through.
E, I need you. You're the first person because I saw it before you, and you're the first person that message, and I'm like, how you gonna feel about this?
I mean, at this point, I feel like they haven't spoiled anything else that we haven't already seen. So, as the bombs that have dropped already, it's like, you know, they're saying the hunt is on. They've seen that stuff before. It's like our motivations. If you've jumped in so far, I don't think this is anything that gives anything else away. We see a little bit more of Spider. We see actually some of the ramifications of the fact that like Cade's under that draping, just to be like, there's a little more validity to the
weight.
It's real now that you see like that's like
particular is what I wanted to get from you, your response, like, because that's usually something that's reserved, you know, not in a trailer and kind of, you know, when you play through a story. So I was like, I wanted to know you specific because I know you've had strong feelings in the past about Bungie spoiling too much, you know, telling too much, and they're literally showing almost the.
I just hope this isn't all the damn cinematics. I don't want everything to be seen before and then jump into the game and be like, okay, I've seen all this stuff already. Like, there better be a lot more to it, because if you show me everything before the game comes out, then I am going to be kind of pissed, because, I mean...
There we go. That's my Ebontis.
No, like, this is the point where it's like, I wasn't thrilled at first when they did the reveal that Cade was going to die. Now, I know the marketing piece, totally fine. It got everybody hyped, and then it's like, I understand. And if that is your motivation for the whole story, it's like, this is the opening of the story, and then as long as they like follow through with everything else that comes with it, then yeah, like this has kind of been okay. But I still, the weight of it, as long as there's more to it, and I still think in the moment when I'm playing, I'll still hopefully feel a little more. When all the videos connect, I think is when it's probably going to hit me a little more, even than it already has. Like, It hit me when you watched him in the the Last Stand trailer. That one hit me a lot, because when he goes through the wall, you're like, damn, I know what's coming next. And then this one, you just see it. But like in true Cade fashion, in this final like Forsaken trailer, man, he does not go down without that final just like middle finger right to him. And I love that. Like there are little pieces I wish that I think they could have still held, that I've already seen, that, you know, I'm going to enjoy it over and over again. But I still think they could have pulled some back. Still keeping the hype machine up, but not all of it was necessary, personally, because I'm just hoping this isn't everything, because if I play the game and I've already seen it all, I will turn around and I will be very pissed, because I don't want to know everything.
It is the exact same set of...
Do what?
What if we turn it on, you know, September 4th release date, we all load up, and it's the exact same cinema. There's no additional change. It's literally what they showed. Then what? Scream, I need to hear from you.
I mean,
what if it's verbatim?
I think I would be like, well, guess we're waiting to find out more.
Yeah. I mean, I'm wondering if this is literally like most of a prologue. I mean, the first mission is going to be the jailbreak. They've said that. All that stuff goes down. And this is like mission 1. We've still got to hunt all the Barons. We've still got to hunt him down. And I'm just hoping there is more that like connects all of those pieces. We actually had a decent amount of cinematics with Gaul, like more than I expected. So if they have that continue, and this is like the prologue, you know, I guess it's like, yeah, I've mostly seen it, but if there's more, like if this is, you know, 1/10 of what we're gonna get, cool. If this is 2/3 of what we're gonna get, not cool. So I just want to know that there's gonna be a lot more to follow this, and then I'll be okay with it if this doesn't give everything away.
And I think to a degree, like when I remember when, just to compare it to like the Gaul cinematics, because I remember watching those and thinking like, oh, like they were sort of introducing the Cabal lore, you know, like we knew who the Cabal were, but we didn't know anything about them really. We didn't know, like, we knew they were warrior, like turtle kind of guys. We didn't really know anything else, so we were kind of getting a little introduction to that. So I mean, I wished there was more of it, but I can understand why they were just kind of giving you a taste, you know. Whereas this is really, other than the Warmind, which I feel is not like that whole segment of the lore. I I don't know if I don't feel like that's really necessarily done, even though we're sort of moving into a different area. I feel like they're going to be connected some way. I don't know.
Yeah, if you
I
saw
mean,
the DLC releases.
right? Yeah, I mean, so I think but we're revisiting an older thing that we've already introduced, and moreover, we're revisiting probably one of the races other than the Hive
Mhm.
that we've spent the most time with.
Mhm.
So I mean, like, not to be too much of a spoiler. I don't want to be
Mhm.
a spoil. I don't know anything for a fact. I have no information other than what you guys have said. I just want to say that
Uh-huh.
right now.
Uh-huh.
But I would suspect that his sister is still alive.
Okay.
I mean, as much as I think he wants what she has, and maybe she's not alive in the sense that she's physically out there somewhere and hiding, but I think the essence of her is still there somewhere. And I think that there's probably I think there's going to be like one of these things where it's going to be like he has the chance to either take the power or bring her back,
Mhm.
or you might have to make that choice for him. But I feel like that's
Mm.
going to be something. I mean, just there's a lot of hints. I think it would be a cooler story if she was still alive. And
Absolutely.
so that's kind of where I always think like what would make
She's
the
a
best story?
Yeah, she's a loved character. She's an
Right.
absolute loved character. I mean, like
What
we,
if
we
she's
all
taken?
agree that if number one and two sit and best of them is in Destiny, if it's not, the Cade, kind of last stand trailer, it's going to be, the Awoken and the Marasov versus the Taken War, scene. So that scene, I remember when she, Mara saw balls to no man, like, drops back and then, unleashes this wave or whatever it was. Unfortunately, Oryx took that to the face and he had a response.
Right.
But, we all agree those are the two top cinemas in Destiny. And Destiny's a better place if she's around, So I completely agree. I'm hoping that she is around. And like I said, we just hope that the storytelling and everything is done, just like you said, almost like, in that Game of Thrones realm where it's just like, a piece here, a piece there, and it's leading to this overarching, enemy or, protagonist or whatever that we have to kind of get to. So I'm looking forward to it, man.
Yeah. So yeah, I think we're all pretty hyped for what's to come with the story. I just hope it lives up to what they've done so far. Like, I mean, this is a huge hype train they're on. If they can follow through with this could be like the best release yet, like for all of the past 5 years. So yeah. But all of our random hype from trailers and Cade and everything else aside, the game itself has changed too.
Yes,
So
sir.
we got to talk about it.
Let's go.
Patch 2.0.0 dropped. I don't know. It took you guys a little while to download if you were just able to jump straight in. But we're just going to kind of hit some of the high notes. If you want to read the full patch notes, they're on Bungie. But there are some things there are some talking points and things. They may be short discussions, but I just kind of want to bring them up as we go. Just as we go through all the crazy changes. So, first, we got weapons and armor definitely getting a change. And just the exotics is where they touch on first. Just some cool ones, like little things that actually give you more usability for different ones, like Celestial Nighthawk, getting a third of your super back if you kill a target. That way you don't have to hold it for a boss. You actually can be like, all right, I'll melt this guy and get it back sooner. I mean, those seem like positive changes. Knucklehead Radar, meh. This is one of those that I'm like, they can't quite figure out how to make this thing like keep up with the rest. Enhanced radar resolution while crouching. Am I gonna like run around a match? Hold on, stop, crouch. Oh, he's over there. Okay, let me keep going. No, like really. I mean, maybe if you were ADS for 3 seconds, then it would actually go. That would be cool. But I mean, just something while crouching, not so much. Worm Husk Crown, for all of the people who've seen this thing running around PvP, it no longer starts the regeneration of health and shields that like fully refills you, but it does give you a little bump of health and shields at the beginning of the dodge. So if you're in a fight, you dodge, it's instantly reloaded. So it's like a quick shot of health. As the time to kill's faster, I don't think it's as strong because you can't hide and go get full again. But if you're in a fight, it still might save you for one. You just can't be full into your next fight.
Right.
You guys have any thoughts else about the hunter ones?
I'll let Scream get this.
I think that the dodge is a good nerf, honestly. I think it's still functional enough. I think the Celeste, I think the whole, and this, I see this with another, I think it's with the Skull of Dara Amakara helmet as well. For the Warlock.
Yes. Oh yeah.
I like the 30. I don't know if it's exactly 33% for that as well, but they've upped their the regeneration upon killing enemies with the
who have they?
super, and so I like that they did that with the Celestial Nighthawk too. I think that's all. Those are all good things.
Fonz is going in on Orpheus rig, y'all. He's saying it sucks.
So
Did he
I
offer
watched the
his
video
test?
from Fallout. Actually, Fallout plays. Shout out to him. Always doing some good science out there. You still can get your super back. It's just not as easy. Like they nerfed it a decent amount, but it's also still the point where like Mobius Quiver still doesn't do that much. I mean, you could fire that thing for a while. He fired like 6 or 7 shots at a boss, which is still kind of cool because that does extra damage. But the tether to actually get your super back, you can make a decent amount of orbs, but you can't do it quite as easily. And I think it was a bit ridiculous before. Like we knew, like if you were going in, if you have a hunter with one person with Orpheus, you're gonna have, orbs for days. I think these are same thing with Wormhusk. It's still usable and it gives you a function of a bonus, but it's not so OP. It's like you're only gonna pick that one.
Right.
Like same thing as as a hunter in PvE. Are you really going to run much else besides Orpheus Rig if you're in a group? Probably not. But now I like how they're giving options. So
Yeah.
I think they're not crazily nerfing because they're still trying to keep things powerful, but they got to bring a couple things in line just to give you options. Knucklehead Radar, meh. But Shinobu's Vow, for example, I saw Fallout Plays did that one. If all 5 of them hit, half your grenade energy is back, and you have 2 grenades. If you hit if you hit all of it, you basically got another one. So. Yeah, you got a lot going with Shinobu. So, I mean, that one potentially with some Arc Striders having some fun with the rotating pole shield, then, I don't know, could be interesting. So, I think they're trying to find a decent balance, and I think they kind of hit the mark so far on the Hunters pretty reasonably without going too far.
Yeah, I want to actually address something really quick. There's an elephant in the room that I want to address for all my hunter mains out here. I've had this discussion with numerous times. Shout out to Sinister. Shout out to Fonz early in the chat. Shout out to the dude from Short Pause. And I want to know if Scream agrees with this. There's an overall feeling from the Hunter class that Bungie has it in for them. That ultimately, whenever there's big time buffs and nerfs, that the Titans and the Warlocks are the recipient of greater buffs, and that whenever there is anything, because they, in Hunter's opinions, they feel that they don't have a lot of these very extravagant / flashy, exotics or buffs or OP kind of moves, right? So do you guys agree with this, one? And two, do you think that there is a bias against Hunters whenever patch notes come out?
You're trying to
Like,
start
for
something
example,
right now, really?
Hunters are mad with Wormhusk right now. I mean, then it's still usable, but they're mad. Why did that have to get touched? And they're like mad with Orpheus raids. Why did that have to get touched? So what are you guys feeling on that whole thought process overall?
Scream, I'll let you go first on that one. You're the guest.
We got to talk about the elephant in the room.
I don't know. I don't think there's a vendetta. I mean, as
Dizzy.
I played war. This is a tough question to answer. I don't.
What is your main Scream?
I main a Warlock now.
Okay. See, already they're going to disqualify you because they're going to say you don't live that life. You don't know the pain to deal against Hunters and Titans.
But D1, I was all Hunter. Like I mean, my main was a Hunter through the entirety of D1. And if I'm being honest, the reason I started a Warlock in D2 was because Warlocks were so much easier to do the raid and or Nightfalls with. Like as far as soloing any of those things or being able to just kind of survive on your own. I mean, I always thought that a Titan was the most useful as far as a partner to have in any group. But if you were on your own or you just kind of needed to play the position of taking care of yourself, I always thought the Sunsinger Warlock was just top.
Oh yeah, baby, Sunsinger, baby, praise the light.
And then in this, the Voidwalker Warlock is really, really good. I mean, just the fact that you can regen your health.
Power. Oh yeah.
Yeah, is so I don't know if there is a vendetta against hunters, but I will say that they have always been the most PvP minded class in my opinion.
I
Yep.
agree.
In that that's what really good PvP players, Crucible players will always play a hunter.
Facts. Thank
Oh,
you
yeah.
for saying that.
Yep.
Thank you.
Titans, they'll also play Titans, but Titans are when they just want to like womp.
Yeah.
Like that's like it's a different mentality. Like I think hunters make the classy plays. When you watch somebody with a hunter play really well in the Crucible, they do some just really fancy stuff.
Yeah, it's like art, right? Isn't it like it's just so special looking? Like
It's
it's
one
just
of the most. I mean, it's like one
graceful.
of It really. That's it. It's like the most graceful, like gun skill oriented. I think classful based. You really get to see what the class does and what it's made to do. And I think there's something very cool about that. Whereas if you see somebody playing really good with a Titan, I mean, they might be killing more people or just stacking up more damage, but it's not as interesting to watch.
Yes, I agree. You got about the E. I need you before I jump in. Real quick. I know this is a tangent, but I never talked about this on Flash.
Oh, go ahead, please.
E.
Yeah,
interrupt
me.
You want to jump in? You're chomping at the bit, man. I'll chime in afterwards. You are ready to go, so hit it. You go. All you, man.
No, I was literally asking you. I was posting this question because we never really talked about it on Flashpoint with Hunter.
I was like, I think Scream said it pretty well. PvP was, if you're going to be in competitive PvP, I mean, Hunter with Wormhusk Crown, like, who else is going to run that? So, I mean, you have a point to where they have, we go through waves. And I feel like sometimes, and especially in D1 as well, you had the Blade Dancer. There was a point where those were really, really powerful. And then things kind of have to get nerfed and other things get buffed. And is Bungie always perfect at balancing? No. So, I mean, there's a point where some stuff does. Do I think it's vindictive and, hate out for them? No, I really don't. I really don't, because there are times when certain things, like, everybody's like, oh, well, you got the hammers, or you've got this exotic, and it's like, you can get your health back. That's more powerful than any other move, and they don't make things that way for, I mean, they haven't made other characters. Like, you've got, Orpheus rig for orbs. It's like, there are certain purposes, but they're not all the same, and for me, sometimes I actually enjoy the distinction between them. Because I want these characters to feel different. I don't want the Titan to be exactly the same as the Hunter and the Warlock. They have to be good at different. They have to be good at different things and not so good at things. Like, if you're floating in the air with jumps, and then you've got the shotgun. Somebody's coming at you, dodge to the side, shotgun him, pick up their ammo, pop a super, like reflect everything back at everybody coming up. Like there are options in there, and personally for me, everybody's got to have their time in the Everybody's got to have their time to shine. Hunters kick some ass in PvP for a while, and if they're not quite as powerful and Wormhusk Crown isn't literally, if you go against a hunter with Wormhusk Crown before, how much chance did you really have if they are actually decent? Probably you're working at a disadvantage. Bringing some things in check and bringing other things up, for me, yeah, I'm okay with it. So,
but last question, because you're a hunter main. That's your first. What about PvE? What about, a lot of hunters I hear, hey, but you warlocks got rifts and this guy's got a barricade. It's like a team supporting, life extending thing to kind of solo content where all they have is a dodge, and they say, for PvE the distinction is even greater.
So this is where it's more the build of the game itself and not as much the characters. If you had things where, okay, so picture Crota, who ran the sword. Hunters ran that every time you want a hunter in there because they can go invisible, because there's certain mechanics to a fight. So come in Destiny 2, build mechanics where like, hey, hunters hey, I gotta go invis, I gotta get behind these guys to go pick this thing up, you guys stay here. Make a function to where they have their purpose. Like, you have a rift, you have a wall over here on the side, I gotta go get through 10 enemies, but they can't see me. No one else can do that besides a hunter.
They can literally go past an entire section, hunters, because they're invisible. Like, that's a big deal.
Yeah,
I agree.
so it's like they have different purposes, and this is where I wish Bungie would delve into those more. Like, characters should feel different. Like, Titan should be that tank. Warlock should be support, caster, crazy. Hunter should be that, like, assassin, dodging, invisible. Like, I mean, that double dodge thing, like, those things look really, really cool. And the invisibility is their piece. Like, who else can go res somebody in the middle of a crazy fight? Hunter. I mean, they're not the most. They're not meant to be your DPS output. That's the same way like an assassin would be if World of Warcraft, like a can't even think of the damn class, rogue. Like they are going to be quick damage, like little bursts and things here and there. Like picture Celestial Nighthawk. So there are certain things for me in PvE could get buffed, but I wish Bungie would build things that would actually use the mechanics of each character in a better way.
No, fair enough. And I know we went over. Like I said, I'm glad you guys answered that for me because I've been noticing there's been a lot of rhetoric going on about this, and I've always felt that as a hunter is a high skill class. Yeah. Is it something that you're going to get immediate benefits from the beginning? Probably not. It's going to take a little while to master. But I think what they have still is very high level, you know? And let's not even talk about the agility. And again, the fact that they were probably the most stylish class, you know what I mean? So now with the new supers coming and these buffs that we've just seen and Gunslinger getting to 33%, you know, yeah, I understand the frustration with the worm husk and all that other stuff in Orpheus, but at the same time, like you said, Ebontis, it's one of those things that if you're a hunter, that kind of just locks you into only that exotic. What was the purpose of taking anything else? It doesn't make anything else attractive. You see what I'm saying? And I think that's what the purpose is here. They're trying to get other things up and that we know that, and also that we know are coming, that like that double shade step thing. I remember shade step in D1. It was evil. You know, now you're talking about like a double thing. It just adds to their style, what's going on with them. And I think people are really underrating what's coming, especially, you know, the one of 1,000 cuts that Cade used. That's extremely powerful. You know, if they got, and people are forgetting about that reflective super that, you know, they twirl the bow and they're literally sending projectiles back at bosses and in PvE. That's insane to me. Like, they got things that only they can do. And I think what happens is some hunters realistically want to be Titans or realistically want to be hunters. If that's the case, then the hunter class is not for you. My rant's over.
Yeah.
Continue.
So, but yeah, I mean, all these they're trying to tweak them and not kill anything too bad, which I like. So let's jump into Warlocks next. You've got the Stag, the Rift drop from Death now has standard Rift duration. Like, is anybody going to use the Stag? This is the point where I'm kind of like,
hey, easy.
No, but I mean, certain exotics they're making, like Skull of Daihara Hamkara, they're basically turning that thing into Obsidian Mind. You've got, you know, Mark 44 Stand-Asides has its purpose, Hellfire Heart, like, certain things have their place, but, like, I want to know who's really running the Stag, like, all the time.
Me.
Bold, Loney.
I'm going to tell you why. Listen, I hear what you're saying.
Are you really running that thing all the time, and I'm just crazy?
Yeah, no, I don't. I run it in high level activities. Like, I run it in raids. I run it in
okay, I can see that.
Prestige Nightfalls. Listen, when you're playing raids, the key, you cannot die. Like, you cannot. You put your entire raid team at a disadvantage. Yeah. With the Stag, the beautiful thing is also it's not just when you die you get a rift. That's not the point of it. The point of it is when you're near death, your rift recharges almost instantly. So that kind of gets you more of in a defensive mind. Like, okay, I'm about to die. Let me get behind corner. Boom, throw this down. So for high level play, I use it. You know when I use it? Whenever like I'm under leveled doing high level content. That's when it has its beauty. But you know, trust me, I know people are like, hey, I'm not going to use that. I'll use all these other, you know, flashy things. But it does have it has its purpose. You just got to find, you know, a way to kind of use it. And that for me is always been good. So,
there you go. You're ready to use the Stag. Bam. I honestly totally forgot about the actually getting low and faster recharges because I've been mostly like Titan, then working on my Hunter through the story. Like I've been off my Warlock for a little bit. So cool, I have another world ability recharge bonus increased. I mean, it's just a general use one, but it's just even better. Nezrak Sin, kind of similar. You've got Skull of Daihara Ahamkara. I've seen people getting some crazy void bombs going now.
It's crazy. It's nuts.
That really is kind of nuts. And or what was it? Obsidian Mind, yeah, totally Obsidian Mind, yeah.
Yeah, you kill yellow bars now. Oh man, it's something else.
Yeah. So I mean, bringing out like tractor cannon and void dom bombs for escalation protocol is just about to get to be kind of crazy. Transversive steps enhance mobility after sprinting for a short time. Currently equipped, automatically reloaded. Kind of cool. Just gives you actually a little more. If you're going for a warlock and you like, okay, I want to be a little bit of a hunter with mobility option. Winter's Guile, tune damage and duration per stack to be more consistent. I still always forget what that damn thing does.
You talking about the which one? You talking about the transversive? Which one?
The
I'm sorry.
Winter's Guile.
Oh, that's the one. I don't use it. It's the one where you, anytime you melee something, I believe it keeps increasing melee damage. So you're stacking melee damage all the time.
Eliminating enemies with melee attacks, increasing melee damage. I
Mhm.
mean, I guess if you're up in the fight and punching stuff, maybe.
Yeah, I'm not really.
Um,
That's one that's not really that.
Yeah.
It's PvE. It's like
About the only place I could probably see that is it's a similar thing for the Syntheseps for the Titan. If I'm punching stuff in the Whisper mission like by myself, like just to be able to do it a little easier, like that would actually be a way to clear some ads. But then I'd probably switch off it pretty quick, so it's not a long term use. Titans. We got Mark 44 stand-asides. Overshield is quicker, which is cool. And shoulder charge is back, baby. I used that thing last night. It felt good. I missed it. It's been so long. I hated being like, doof. Okay, it's still alive. Bam, bam, dead. I got so frustrated with that, so I'm so glad to be able to one-shot shoulder charge again. Shotguns are going to kill me half the time, though, so I've been killed plenty of times already. Hellfire Heart, base cooldown reduction when the super is uncharged. Now, that's actually kind of cool, because you always had to wait for your super to be charged to actually get the benefit. So now it's actually just a base cooldown reduction when it's not even there, so... Helm of Sate 14, we'll see if this thing actually makes a comeback. I don't know. When's the last time you used Word of Dawn? Destiny 1?
Yeah. Kind of used. What about when's the last time you touched that thing, Scream?
It's been a minute, but from what I've seen of tests of how strong you are now in Word of Dawn, you are really strong. Like, I mean, like really, really, really powerful. I mean, not just you, all your teammates have a lot of health. I forget who I saw doing it, but somebody was shooting rockets in the Ward of Dawn at their feet, and it was like taking away just like a quarter of their overshield per rocket. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, you're just gonna be. If you got point B in that bubble, you just let them have that point for a minute.
Yeah.
Mask of the Quiet One, just increased energy. Crest of Alpalupe, the healing pulse is more effective. I mean, just kind of basic stuff there where they serve their purpose. And again here, like, is anything of the Titans boosts really anything insane? Not really. I mean, Warlock's getting like infinite void bombs. Things are getting tweaks, but I mean, Hunters may cry, but I don't see anybody getting anything that's like,
Well, the Hunters don't cry about that skull of Ankara that we got. Because their office rings got this. They're like, oh, you guys are getting infinite supers now. Look at you. They take ours away.
Was that question to me?
Oh, sorry. Yeah, it's good.
Oh yeah. No. Yeah. I think. We'll see how that plays out. I know somebody's gonna figure out a way to use it that is gonna just annoy people. Because I'm curious as to how. Yeah. I mean, I think it's really, really cool for PvE. I don't see how you could really misuse it in PvP, but I find that there's always somebody who's way smarter than me at this. Figures out some way to do it. So we'll see. But it was cool to. I mean, it's cool to see like a Nova Bomb just give you all your health, like all your super back.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Yeah.
So that's most of the exotic changes for armor. Weapons. So as you guys may have seen, weapons moved around. They shift slots, ammo economy. There's a whole bunch going on. Without diving too far into just all the details, how do you guys feel about all this?
Let's Scream start. I've been doing a lot of talking.
I love it. I was saying before. I mean, I just like having my sniper back in that secondary class because I was always somebody who like I don't even know if it was because I just played FPSs for so long and you just get used to doing this, but I would always swap, and maybe it's because I played a lot of those on console too. I would always YY to swap weapons between my primary and my secondary in most games, most games where you have two guns,
Mhm.
and I would always use a sniper rifle, at least for my secondary gun. So I kind of got into like a mode. I really started to realize this in D1, um, that I would use like the swap to almost reset my midpoint
Mhm.
for like aiming. So it
Mhm.
was kind of like it was kind of something I would do to help me like aim shots, where I would kind of, even if I was looking at a corner, maybe I thought there was going to be some, enemies coming out or opponents coming out, I would sort of just hot swap with Y between my sniper and my primary, in that's to keep track of my radar, but also to kind of keep my reticle centered,
Okay.
because it does sort of auto correct your centering, especially if you're turning a little bit. I don't know
Mhm.
if people really realize that it does that. It's kind
Mhm.
of like a, I don't know if it's like a, why the game does that specifically. It's just kind of, and I don't know if it's really designed specifically to say that it does that, but it kind of does. It's, or at least it's always helped me.
Mhm.
So not being able to do that with sniper rifles being in the heavy position was really kind of irritating me for
Yeah.
a long time. So being able to do that alone,
Mhm.
um, it just feels so much better. Uh, and it makes the game more exciting for me. It makes me feel as though I'm like not just, even if I'm using a sniper, then I'm not just sitting on a place like scoped in waiting for somebody to possibly like move out around a corner. I like I love sniping, but I don't like camping. And
Gotcha.
I've always like, and it's kind of, you think when you snipe you want to just sit, like, or you want to sit at range, find the lanes and just, you know wait. But I've never really been a fan of playing that way. I kind of like to be up in people's faces while I'm using a sniper rifle. I know that doesn't really sound like the best way of
Mhm.
playing or utilizing that weapon, but I always say that I'm always just looking for a clip. Like that's
All
what I'm
right.
always
All
looking
right.
for.
With
I'm
that
always just
montage.
I just like, yeah, I could get trounced in a game if I get that one like crispy play.
Mm.
I am happy.
Gotta get that highlight reel going.
Right, right. The highlight. That's all I'm going for.
Mhm.
So, I mean, other than that, I think it's just, I think it's interesting. I think
Mhm.
it gives you an opportunity to play a lot of different styles of the game.
Mhm.
Um, I think uh, shotguns seem to be really powerful right now. I
Mhm.
would maybe like to see the sniper get like maybe a couple more shots on
Okay.
spawn, maybe like 4.
Gotcha.
Yeah, yeah, I think
Mhm.
that's fair.
But and maybe it's like I don't want to dump on shotguns, because
Mhm.
shotguns are like, I mean, they're a big part of the game, and as much
Right.
as I didn't use them, I understood their necessity in the
Gotcha.
game. I would maybe like to see just a slight reduction in the range on that,
Mhm.
because not because I feel like they're too good, but
Mhm.
because we have fusion rifles as well, and I'm sorry, I kind of don't really see their place right at this current moment, because they're not real. I mean, I would say a shotgun's range is, it maybe doesn't have the quite the killing distance, but it has the ability to damage at almost the same distance,
Yes.
and it's an easy swap to like a hand cannon, which are great
Mhm.
right now,
Yeah.
to finish them off in one shot. So like a shot, I mean, any shotgun hand cannon swap, that's going to be boom boom, that's it. So
Mhm.
um I would maybe just to play into the a fusion rifle
Mhm.
meta, not to say that that should be the meta, but just to play into that meta a little
Mhm.
bit more, give them a little bit more of a place.
Yeah.
But overall, very very happy.
Nice. Nice. Yeah, man. I'll jump in. It's been fun. It's been fun. I mean, I think the overall feeling for me, I'm so glad they did this 1 week before the launch of Forsaken, because it
Mm.
really is a mindset change. And I've been really enjoying. I think the overall feeling is, yo, I feel powerful again.
Mm.
I feel like I have tremendous versatility, you know, and it was just overwhelming. After I'm like, okay, so like when the patch comes out, I turn on Fire Up Destiny. I'm talking to you, I'm like, I don't even know what to touch first. Like it's so many choices, and then it's just so weird. I'm like, oh look, Merciless is in the energy slot. What's this? You know what I mean? It was just so overwhelming, but in a good way, in a fun way, like in an experimental way. So I think the first thing I ran out there, I was like, oh, I got Perfect Paradox. That's kinetic now. Let's go have fun. So I ran out there PvE with Perfect Paradox. I had that going. I think I had I still was going like an old school line. Like I think I had either Graviton or Polaris. And then I had like, an old school rocket launch. I messed around with that. And I was just flipping things around. And then I got into PvP, and it was just like, man, this is so different. And I remember getting one hit killed, and I'm like, okay. But then like I kind of did it to somebody else with a shotgun. And I'm like, okay. So, it didn't feel like super cheap. I felt the two ammo bricks for the shotgun was okay. It gave me a fighting chance to combat stuff, and just messing with the different archetypes. I've been messing with pulses. Pulses feel like they're really a good place right now. Messing with little hand cannons, that felt a little good. Obviously I'm not a sniper, but I do agree with you, Scream. I think snipers should get probably like another special ammo brick or something, just on the respawn. That probably would be a little nice. And yeah, man, like actually I've been having so much fun with primary and energy, that kinetic and energy, that I really haven't focused so much on heavy. I don't feel heavy has the big focus. I've gone through matches where I wasn't even getting the brick, so to speak, from the spawn, and I was still having a lot of fun. But it's just really fun. I'm really enjoying it. I think this is probably a very good medium, from D1. It's not the exact D1 system, but it's something close, and I think it's fair. Kind of just got to see how fusions find their place. And other than that, man, yeah, I'm having fun. I really think this is a really welcome and needed change.
Nice. Yeah, I mean, mine was just basically, as I was telling, I may have said it before we got on. I just ran in with a shotgun. It was on the Mars PvP map. I never remember the name. But it's on point B, where it's in that angled room, and I was just back there. I ran in, shot one, came around the corner, shot another, picked up his, and I traded with somebody in a super. And I'm like, I could never do that. You never have that pace of game, and I missed that so much. Now I turned around and did the next game, and I got shotgunned all day long. So I do agree, like, there needs to be some type of, a little bit of balance of, like, fusions need a little bit, maybe a little tweak. Snipers definitely need some ammo, because you are farther, and that's literally your point of playing a sniper. And now they can't have like 12 rounds and sit in the back for like half the game,
right?
But a few more, so you actually have a chance if you miss one or two that you can duck, maybe peek back out and go for one or two more. It's going to be hard to like gather ammo for a sniper and then still get a chance to use it. So I would say that they definitely need a little bit of a boost, but I think you said it as well. I honestly wasn't even worrying about heavy ammo. I was just like pulling up my shotgun, running in. Oh, somebody's going to be coming for a way. Hold on, let me switch over to Graviton. Okay, go back to running in that room with the shotgun. I was just like, heavy wasn't even as much of a concern, and everybody lived for that now. So it was just like, I mean, that's what everybody was going for. So it's kind of, it's refreshing, and I think it needed some type of boost, some type of anything, because I was kind of getting old of like, just the one shot, two shot, here you go. It's like now you can actually push a team. So
yeah, absolutely, man. You can be aggressive. You can play fast. You can play aggressive. It completely changes PvP on its head. It's just like I said. And in PvE, man, the combinations, are just crazy. Like I've seen people, whisper and Ikelos shotgun, and just whatever kinetic. It's just crazy. But so it's gonna be really cool. I'm very proud. I'm proud of them for quote unquote breaking the sandbox and not getting to the way they started D2, which was extremely conservative, and even the abilities, which we'll get into that. But yeah, it feels really fun.
Yeah. So overall, I think it's a pretty good change, as you said, with the ammo. I think there will probably be some tweaks, hopefully, if they get something, just to give more things viable. Because yeah, shotguns are just everywhere. It's nuts. But yeah, a few things moved around. Yeah, it was like, where is Merciless going to be? Because it can dump a lot of damage pretty quickly. But when it was in the energy slot, I was like, okay, I can. That could be, you throw Merciless and Whisper into a like raid run. Oh, dude.
Oh,
Like Yeah. If you run out of Merciless and you got to reload or whatever reason, then just switch over and start pumping them with what. Yeah. Whisper's still good. That's all I was happy about. They brought it in. They didn't nerf it.
Telesto is something to deal
How
with.
is that? I haven't touched it yet, actually.
Telesto in the Crucible is something to deal with in
Really?
energy spot. Trust me, I've been getting Telesto is the best ode in Crucible all day. It controls
That's
spot.
an
Yeah,
that's an
get
energy
Scream.
now, yeah. That's an energy now.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh,
Mhm.
ooh,
Yeah.
I love meta tips.
Yeah, man. I got some meta for you, man. Oh man. 390 pulses. Woo! 450 pulses. Whoa. There's some metas right now that are really there's some archetypes that are really good. But the cool thing is everything still, even though let's say for example, that is high meta right now, the other stuff is still viable. You're talking about smaller differences in time to kill as opposed to the past, where it would be like there's just clear graviton and vigilance, right? And then everything else was like whatever, right? Now it's like, yo, you still got things that can compete. So it's not just like, yo, if we at least that's how I feel right now. I know the meta is early and it's settling, but it's one of those things that my gut is feeling like there are more viable options with this meta as opposed to the previous meta.
Say that one more time. Sorry.
That's cool. No, I was saying that I feel like there's more options with this meta because the time to kills are so close,
Yeah.
as opposed to the old meta, which was, vigilance, graviton.
Oh, yeah.
And then you'd be stupid to pick anything else because you're gonna lose the vigilance and gravity. That's how it felt with the old meta, in my opinion, at least in just PvP.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So
Yeah, I would agree. Yeah.
yeah, just a lot of things are feeling good. I haven't I haven't played that much PvP, so I haven't even had a chance to test much stuff out. But what I've done so far, just the variety of running around and how it feels, yeah, loving kind of every minute of it so far. Even if I am getting smoked in the face, it's like, well, that's on me. Like, I mean, you do have a radar. They are even bringing it back for competitive. So if you run around a corner and there's a red dot there and you get blasted, it's kind of your own fault. Go another way. Like you got to learn to know that could be if somebody's just standing there waiting for it. It's like, and oops. Like it's gonna happen. So
I have to say something that might be controversial, even though I would never go back to this now.
Mm-hmm.
But the pace of the game with the weapons options and time to kill, the way it is currently, I would have said this style of game would actually be a perfect 4v4. Meaning,
Interesting.
if this had been where Destiny was when like quick play was 4v4, I actually think it would have felt as fast as 6v6 in D1. The pace of the game would have been completely different because the maps are slightly. I mean, it's a slightly different scope.
I see where you're going.
Not to say that we should go back to a 4v4, but it's kind of like it's sort of one of those things where. I don't think anybody even would have known the difference because it's so much quicker now than it was.
I hear where you're going. And I think that's a big point because a lot of people felt it's too slow. Time to kill is too long, and that's a good point. Imagine if we had this meta, in the fours, would the outcries have been as loud, right?
I doubt anybody would have even, I bet people would have played a day. There would have been people who played a day that went, oh, this is 4v4 at the end of the day. Because I mean, like, I can just tell now, like, I mean, I look around a corner with a sniper and there is three red dots looking back at me. And I'm like, oh my God, like, this is like everybody who's been wanting to play that way. I mean, they're probably out in force right now because they've been wanting to, but it's like, it always was a big, like, I always thought in D1, there was always, in every PvP match, there was always two games that were being played. And hopefully I can explain this in a way that's condensed. But there was, say you were playing Iron Banner and it was a capture the flag mission, right? Now, there were guys who I would play with who were very, very good, but they were never, I never judged them based off of like their stats or how well they were doing on the same way that I would judge myself. Because I was always a guy who, I might have 15 kills, but I only died 3 times. Whereas there was other guys who they would have 30 kills, but they might have died 25 times.
Right.
So and a lot of that was because it's just there would be these sniper battles going on. There would be people that I would see that they would never see at all because I would just be constantly taking them out while they were trying to pick off guys on the point. So I would be doing the opposite, or they would be trying to get me. And it's interesting that I didn't really get it. I don't know where those people went. I haven't, and all of a sudden they're back. It's like that. It was like in one swoop. All of a sudden I'm like, oh, this whole, I'm seeing the map in different ways now where you're out on the edge a lot more and but you're meeting other people on these different lanes that you would have never used, where it was like, you knew that maybe one guy on the other team maybe had a sniper rifle in D1 in D2 leading up to
facts.
Right. So you knew that you might be looking at one red dot. And if you didn't see a red dot, you knew that there was nobody on that team. They were all using either, a rocket launcher or fusion rifle or shotgun or anything else. So now seeing that, the pressure is so much different. And it's weird how like a range weapon can make the pace of the game feels so much quicker. Yes. Not to harp on sniper rifles for too long, though.
That's your baby. It's
cool. Kind of but I'm a little biased.
No, I hear you, man. I hear you. Yeah, I think you're making valid points. I think my chat agrees with you that if if it was if they actually made those gameplay and sandbox changes to where they are now, that maybe 4 would have survived, and there could be an argument. As much as I'm a 6 guy, like make no mistake, I love 6 as a map.
I love 6, yeah.
But at the same time, we have to be honest that these maps were designed for 4 in mind, because that was their initial design choice, was to go 4v4 with these maps that play. So it's going to be curious to see when Forsaken comes out with map design, right? How do they make that play out? With now 6s are really officially back, and maybe they kind of scope towards that as well. So it's interesting, man.
Yeah. Heads up, #long point. It's a lot to discuss today, guys. It's happening.
Yeah, it's happening. We got Scream in the building. He's got the mind going.
Yep.
That was an epic rant. I'll give that my.
I've had trust me, I've had like 2 or 3 already. So
yeah, we're good.
We do.
There's a lot of changes, so there's a lot of rants coming. So exotic weapons themselves got a few changes. Sleeper, bigger magazine, reduced base damage, but I guess crits are still as high. Is that the general idea there on Sleeper?
Yeah. So basically, base damage is down, but as you know, Sleeper's my main. That's Bay.
Yeah.
Your reserve is more.
Yeah.
And you're holding more in the initial clip. So before it was 2, now you're 3. Nice. I think before, I was holding a total of 8.
Yeah.
And now it's 12 or something like that. So you're getting more.
13. Yeah, it's kind of nice.
12 or 13, something like that. So yeah, it feels good, because at the end of the day, once Whisper Catalyst and all that stuff came out, it was just like, damn, my Sleeper ain't gonna be able to really, compete, and now you got that. And from people, a couple of people, my clanmates that have the Sleeper Catalyst, say you even get more additional reserve on top of that. I think it's 15.
That thing's like pain in the butt to get, though.
Yeah, man, and that's what I got to get that Catalyst eventually. It's a lot of work to get it, but I got to get that thing going.
Borealis, we actually meant to get to dabble into that one. I think I actually have it on PlayStation, but I never used it. So see if it's actually worth something getting. Coming to the other systems, PC.
Yeah, I wouldn't know about that as an Xbox guy. Yeah, how's that life treating you? How's that?
I mean, PC, I'm all right with it. It looks too pretty for me to care about one gun. Prometheus lens. This one kind of annoys me. No longer generates special ammo on kill. That nerfed the whole, half the reason I used that gun, because it was fun to just melt thralls and keep being able to do it and have that thing explode really huge. So I'm not sure I like that one, actually. So
Traces are in a good place, though. Just letting you know, meta wise.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, they're borderline OP. People are complaining.
And then Tractor Cannon kind of brought in line, increases void damage, non-void damage by 33%, but no longer stacks. So void damage gets a boost, non-void gets a boost that I don't think it did before, but it doesn't stack with everything else. So gonna take a little longer. I think they're trying to make sure we don't nerf some bosses.
Yeah.
Basically. They got some perk changes. Box breathing one took a hit. Trying to think. Explosive payload took a small damage hit. There's little pieces here and there. Field prep, and I actually like triple tap the most. Grants ammo directly into the magazine, no longer pulls from reserves. I'm like, that's actually sounding one that I'm going to want on my scout rifles again, because if you can keep it going with triple, then hey-yo, lots of ammo. So, and you guys pick anything else in here that you guys like, want to talk about?
Scream. You got anything for the perk-wise that really jumped off the to you?
Nothing major, but I'm also going to reserve my answer on this one.
It's cool.
Triple tap is great. I love yeah.
Nothing too crazy, just kind of they're tweaking. Mods are coming. Those are coming next month. You guys have seen some exotics drop by 5 points. Your armor is going to change up here with Forsaken dropping its 5 and things like that. Random stability issues. There's some stuff going on PC with like hand cannons, and there's some weird stuff going on right now. So check out their Twitter and Bungie Help. They definitely have some things to balance and kind of fix. So if things are feeling funny, you're not alone. Let's just say that.
Gotcha.
A couple other basic things, as you can see, most of what we talked about before. Grenades are mostly getting a boost in damage. Magnetic infusions, same thing we talked about before. Most of it is just getting a boost in damage pretty much across the board. Skip grenades trace better. Magnetic fusions, they have their attach. Most of that's stuff we've covered previously. For your hunters, same stuff we said last week. Just a quick rundown. Marksman's dodge works as a reload, which helps gives them a bit more. So
that's
when you dodge, kill clip can just be active. Do it.
People are sleeping on that.
Yeah, it'll get there. I've seen some people talk about it already. Titans Rally Barricade no longer requires you to take cover, so it actually just continues the feed, which is nice. Gives you a little benefit to it. I don't know if it's as fast as like Lunafaction, if you can like blow through it that quickly, if it'll keep filling it up, but it seemed to hold up pretty well. So the 1 or 2 times I did try it.
Gotcha.
Sentinel, as we know, Ward of Dawn got its boost. You get an overshield when you run through it. Projectiles go faster. Warlocks, Healing Rift is better. Empowering Rift now increases precision damage. I actually saw Fallout Plays he had to do it right, but with an Empowering Rift and Sturm stack, he one-shot people. With Sturm.
He was one-shotting with the Sturm overcharge.
Yep.
But it had to be like the perfect scenario.
Oh yeah, he was like, it's really hard to get people to walk into it, but
yeah, like he's like, nobody's gonna want to challenge you when you're in an empower. I mean, when in a rift, but yeah, you can literally do that. I mean, it's a lot of work to get that kind of stuff.
Yeah, but it's one of those cool that's a highlight. That's like
that's a highlight.
Yeah, that'd be kind of cool. But it's like 204 when it's maxed in range. I was like, damn. Stormcaller. I actually haven't. Sorry, go ahead, Scream.
Oh no, sorry. I'm wondering if there's with that Empowering Rift, if there's I bet the Whisper would one-shot body shot.
Oh,
kind of wonder.
Good question.
It's powerful, yeah. Especially if you got box breathing stacked on it too.
Yeah.
It does increase precision, not body damage, though. So I don't know.
That's true. Oh yes.
So I mean, yeah. If you, I think the
doesn't really matter at that point, but
yeah,
that'd be interesting.
You just do like 6,000 damage in PvP. You're like, whoa, that dude's like dead for a while. That dude's not coming back. Stormcaller increased PvP damage. Anybody tried this out yet? I haven't had a chance to.
You know me, Mr. Meta trying.
How is it?
It's nice. It's nice. I felt because I've always had complaints with Stormcaller, and like in D2, it's just not viable over what you call it, the Dawnblade, excuse me, and just how that I got buffed and it was nice. And then I always find myself just falling into that void lock, mode, because it was just either the Devour class or I like the Slover, to be honest. I'm really good with that Slover and the overcharged grenades. So I always stuck in PvP, and you got Blink. So it was kind of tough to take Stormcaller when it was kind of nerfed. But now I will say with Crown of Tempest, dude, like, first of all, not only can they not run away as much because the damage is doing more, because I always felt the Rangers are still a little nerfed, but the damage was even weak. Now you're getting better damage, and then you pair that with that, it's really good, man. So you can get, if you're lucky and you're blinking around the map, you can get about 4 or 5 if you're really lucky and avoiding, getting team shot or something.
Nice. So little boost to the Warlock supers, kind of need it. Projectile speed on Dawnblade, projectile speed on the Shell. Just the projectiles a little quicker because,
Yeah, because people dip them Dawnblade joints all the time.
yeah. It's still, you have a lot of swings, but yeah, it's like, unless you got a group in front of you, it's, you've definitely got plenty of misses in there. So
The tracking is never great. People see me in the air a mile away, laugh, and then run, and I'm just like,
damn it. Come back.
like if you're not up on them, yeah, it's like, forget it. It's not. Yeah. So I actually haven't tried Dawnblade in, Crucible just yet. That's my next test. So hopefully I get that done today or tomorrow.
I was using it. It's pretty viable.
Okay.
You were mad at that one the other day, so that's good to hear.
I like to usually, when I'm using any class that isn't Blink, I would suggest using a hand cannon because it really helps the meta of that class. But it was good. I enjoyed it. I really like, one thing that really is noticeable is how much faster your radar comes back.
Yes.
Using Blink. That's really noticeable. Because I always like to use Blink.
Me too.
But it was it got difficult with late in the meta of year 2 because of year 1, because hunters could stay in the air for so long that you could be blinking, but you would never be able to get to their height. So they would always have it. They would always be able to see you. So like they were just impossible to get around. Now
dropping hunters around you, tough.
And especially if you don't know where they are.
You don't know where they are, and then you have that blink, and your radar's disabled. You're completely disoriented at the mercy of a hunter. Oh yeah, absolutely.
So that's noticeable.
Yeah, just overall thoughts on kind of the class changes, guys. Good, bad, thumb up, thumb down. What do you think?
I'm good as a Warlock. I'm feeling good. I will say, like I said, Stormcaller probably still behind the pack. I still, I like the little super thing. I don't know. They did buff grenades across the board, which really helps though.
Yeah.
So yeah, listen, overall, yeah, of course I'm a little greedy. I would love something more for Stormcaller, but listen, they at least touch something on it. I guess my thing was, the PvP is cool, but I'm like, damn, that doesn't translate to PvE. Because I still feel Stormcaller in PvE, like he's still struggling with some yellow bars, man. You know what I mean? So that's what I was a little surprised by. But overall, look, man, I can't complain. Dawnblade, strong in PvE. He's always been strong in PvE. And, I like to see the buffs going on there. And then, Voidlock is still, to me, that's the class for me. So for my Warlocks, look, I can't complain too much. We still got a lot of weapons, still got a lot of tools. Class still feels strong overall. So I'm all right.
Nice. Scream, you good too? Feeling positive?
Yeah, and I'm not maining a Titan, but I do see a lot of. I'm getting shoulder charged a lot.
Oh, I love how that feels. So good.
I haven't experienced it
and
yet.
I'm pretty sure I saw a video of somebody doing the Nightfall this week, only shoulder charging.
Yep, Esoteric did that. Yep.
Yeah. I don't know what he was doing, but he was taking out like 3 waves of yellows at a time. What was he pairing that with?
He probably had Syntheseps, I would guess, because of melee being stronger when you're surrounded. That'd be my hunch. Increased melee range launch, improved melee and super damage when you're surrounded. So if he actually hits a group, that would be my guess is what he's running. Unless, I don't think ACDO feedback fence would be as strong, honestly, as Syntheseps. Guessing, but I could be wrong. I'd have to check the video, but yeah, it definitely was him. So that's nuts. As always, Esoteric will leave nothing for us solo players to cross the list. He's going to do it all before I ever get he's going to be like in the Dreaming City, shoulder charging the final raid boss by the time I open the door. So it's cool. It's cool. But yeah, we also got some director changes if you guys have seen already. So meditations are gone. Daily heroics right now are just kind of some of the older ones, but those will feature Forsaken campaign missions at 500 power level. What does that make you think that soft cap's going to be if those are 500? I know we were talking about that last week.
Yeah, it's a good question.
460 soft cap.
Well, you're close where we were, so
yeah. We would like 450, right? Yeah, he's very close.
475, yeah, somewhere right in there. So
they're in their range.
I feel like raid level is usually about 20 where I think they're pairing it in like in groups, like stacks of 10 almost. So it's like not stacks of 10, but like I feel like raid ready will be what, 480 Usually,
Mhm.
like,
You think that low, huh?
well, maybe for, maybe 485.
Because they got to still do prestige later,
Right, right,
so we got to
right.
set
So
that up
maybe
as well.
right. So not for prestige. Prestige,
Right.
I bet is cap. Well, what is cap?
Cap
Cap's
is
500.
600.
Cap is
Yeah.
six.
Yeah.
Six.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah.
That's interesting then. I thought it
Yeah.
was. I thought the cap was 5.
No cap
Nope.
6.
Oh.
Yep. Going high. So do you
Mhm.
care to adjust your answer?
Um. 480 soft cap.
Oh, there we go. And raid level. Initial, not prestige.
Tough.
Trying to remember where we landed last week. I think I know where it was.
580
Oh, there you go. You're getting real high up there.
for
All right.
prestige. Oh no. Well, not for. Well, maybe not for that for prestige. Geez. I don't know where the non-prestige would be.
Yeah, it's tough.
I don't know. I 480, 580.
580.
Sticking with that as an
Jesus,
average.
that's high,
Maybe
man.
it's maybe it's an average.
Okay.
Maybe it's an average. But I'm as far as like the prestige raid for the new raid, is that what you're asking? I want to make
I was
sure
asking the normal
Normal rate.
normal
Oh,
raid. Prestige
With a
we know
cap-
is going to be near cap.
Right. So I don't know, maybe 540.
Yeah,
Okay,
that's about where
okay.
we were. So
Yeah.
I was trying to basically say because they have that 50 power level distinction where like if it's above 50 levels difference you can't do anything. So yeah, I was saying like
Right.
somewhere 540 or maybe 560. So you really have a big distinction between the two. So we'll see. But yeah, that's kind of our hope. Have you guys seen any wanted people just roaming around your activities yet?
I haven't seen one yet. Man. I'm
Seriously,
jealous. I've heard
seen
people.
quite a few of them.
I haven't seen one yet. Been completely unlucky for whatever reason. But then again, I've been playing probably too much Crucible, so that could
Yeah,
be
that's
it.
just where you're living. So it's all
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, that's where I've been.
Adventures, they're getting more heroics. You do new ones to do every day, so that gives you some options. Definitely some variety in your Flashpoint is nice because it's Lost Sectors, heroic adventures, and public events. So it's not just grind out 4 public events and go. So gives you a little more variety in your Flashpoint, which is nice. We know strikes are changing. Nightfall, we know the prestige is going to be. We'll probably get more details. I know they're saying all this now, but until I actually see it in action, because none of it's really live until we actually see the new Nightfall. So we'll cover more of that stuff later. Raids though, even just in the current one, the new revive mechanic is 2 minutes and 30 seconds. Were you raiding yesterday?
I was.
Is that live?
We didn't really die much.
No, you're just too good. It's cool. It's cool. No big deal.
Well, we're doing prestige with the new weapon changes, and like
Melting
we just
faces.
we just kind of ran through. Somebody had a callous checkpoint, and we just like, all right, let's just do it.
Oh jeez.
Yeah, so it was just like we kind of was melting them dudes.
But yeah,
we
2.5
we
minutes.
we two phased them. We two plated them.
Yeah. I like that because, I mean, if someone dies and you can clutch it for a bit, you do eventually want them back up because, I mean, some activities really need 6 people. But, I mean, if you're holding down the throne room or something, one of your guys goes down, you don't have to focus on him until you get that little break. So I think that's better. I still kind of wish the tokens were gone because you're still forced to do the revive. You can't pull that 5-man clutch. But overall, at least it's a lot longer.
Right.
So yeah, escapees from the prison of elders are out. Those are the wanted ones. General stuff. Zur, kind of curious what he's going to look like tomorrow.
Yeah.
Kind of waiting to see what he's got going on. If he's going to be on the map at all, or if he's truly just like his icon. So this is like no longer displays the vendor icon on destination maps, like at all. So I don't know if you're just going to have to check his main spots or if they made new spots. So not sure.
I think it's going to be in the main spots, but they're just not going to. I think it's going to be the main spots. It's not going to be linked to the Flashpoint, and you're just going to have to check every planet. I think, honestly, it's exactly what I thought it was going to be at the launch. And then I was like, what are these markers? Come on.
Yeah.
Let me go look.
As we were talking about, he's on train schedule and stuff, so it's like he's showing up as designated stop for the week.
I don't know. Shout out to Dizzy. No, they fixed him a little bit. He's not. I know what you're saying with the exotics, but he's just his faded engrams now just give out the older.
Yep.
Yeah, they kind of announced that already. It's going to be pre-Forsaken exotics that he's going to give out with faded. Now, I'm assuming though, to the Dizzy's dismay, that he still will have new exotics as part of his inventory though. I'm assuming. So
Yeah, that's all right, Dizzy. I got you. Last week I went on a whole rant on that. I got your back. Believe me. I want him to have less, if almost nothing. So
yep, he's with
yeah,
you. Ebontis is right with you,
yeah.
man.
One faded engram for pre-Forsaken exotics, and then maybe just one exotic for the week, or maybe just one engram that you get to go get. That's like, you know, something. But
Mhm.
no, I mean, I definitely would love to see him less because we're only gonna get so many exotics, and I mean, if you
Yeah.
get 2 or 3 like in a week, and then you get a couple
Yep.
drops, they
Oh,
go way too fast. So
yes.
yeah, I'm
I
with you
agree.
guys. I think that's most of it. Got some technical patch notes and stuff down here.
Mhm.
Milestones. What do you guys think? I want to actually get to that, so I'll just kind of leave it here so I'm not scrolling around too much. Um, when it comes to the director changes, do you guys like them or not?
Yeah, it's great. What you think?
As far as I like the fact that they
And the milestone changes and this that
yeah I
blade and like the change. What do you guys think?
no I like that because it I mean not that I needed more prompting, but it feels more interactive. I don't know, it just kind of
Mhm.
feels a little bit more like uh here's something waiting for you rather than
Mhm.
look for what you want to do.
Mhm.
Um,
Yeah, I
but
think
other
I.
than that, I just enjoyed it. I just enjoyed it. Yeah.
Yep, I agree. I agree. I like this little, flashy little icons. Oh, what's that? I guess I got something to do here on Mars. You know what I mean? Figure it
Right.
out. That kind. It just, I don't know. It just kind of encourage more exploration than opposed to logging in, holding down the left trigger. That sub menu pulls up on the left, and it's like, I don't know. I always felt that was clunky, but I always felt like you had to hold that button down on console, and
Yeah.
just see that director thing. That little what
It's
what you're supposed to do list. Kind of thing.
it's a subtle prompt, but I think it's good for the for new people into the game, for
Yes.
people who don't play it as much, as overall like quality of life of the game kind
Yeah,
of thing.
I would agree.
So I actually had a couple of friends that hadn't played that much, and they jumped in. They're like, "Why did they move everything off of there?" So there were a couple that actually
Mm.
were not a fan of it.
Really?
And yeah, I was actually kind of surprised. And they were just saying, "Why would you move that stuff off of there? It's just nice to open it up and see everything." So I mean, I
Hmm.
went back and kind of watched, and they said they moved that stuff out of there because they said there was going to be too many things in there, and they didn't
Hmm.
want to overload the blade with just like your whole damn screen. So I mean, I
Hmm.
kind of understand that to a point, but I've also seen some people go like, your milestones for the week when that thing says, "Hey, you'll have more next week." Kind of satisfying to know you actually have that completionist piece if you do have a lot of time to
Right.
play. But I mean, do you guys see where some people would like where it's easier just to, hey, hold that one thing, these are all the things to do, as opposed to here's these little dots on the director? I mean, can you see where some people are coming from, or just my
Yeah,
friends kind of crazy?
absolutely. I can. I mean, I get it. You press that button and literally it spells out verbatim what you want to do. I mean, I get it. I think yeah, it's probably more suited to the hardcore like us, where we have more of a sense of exploration and trying to find things and figure things out and okay, yada yada yada. Whereas opposed more of a casual person who just wants a set directive, tell me what to do next, where to
Yeah,
go, yada yada yada.
I mean,
yeah,
I kind of I was I guess I like the new version. I guess I could see why people. I guess I could say I
Hmm.
don't understand why they necessarily couldn't have just done both. Like you couldn't have
Hmm.
had that thing over there
Hmm.
as a tracker as well as having the sort of uh the graphic prompts as
Hmm.
well.
Hmm.
Uh right. I mean, I never really had an issue with either method.
Hmm.
I think this kind of promotes that sort of maybe exploratory zone
Yes.
of to to maybe new people. But don't really understand maybe why they had to get rid of the other thing. So that would be maybe more my question other than like I liked this better or I liked this better. More like yeah, you could have done both. Maybe
Hmm.
why didn't you do both?
Yeah, well, according to them, they're saying that they had there's so many things that it would fill up the old way
the
of
blade.
doing it. So
Yeah,
I guess
yeah.
Right,
I
but
mean,
it's there as an option. It's not like it's
Yeah.
always there. So
yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know.
So, yeah, I mean, some were just not fine. I was like, me, I was just like, okay, so if I go into Crucible, at least I'm. See, the one part that I did like, at least, is when I was doing my Flashpoint. And this isn't every activity that you can do that in, I don't think, at least, because I could actually click on Anna Bray for the Flashpoint. And it'd be nice if more things worked this way where you could actually track them on
Yeah.
screen. So as I was like running around, it's just on my screen saying, hey, I did the Flashpoint, cool, 25%. Oh, I did, a Lost Sector, it was 35%. Like, I actually see that progress in game without having to bring up the director. That I actually did like. So some good, some could have stayed. I think kind of a mix of both. But I actually really did like how I could see my progress just on my screen, just up in the corner as I'm going through the Flashpoint. That was actually a nice change. So just live tracking as you go. You guys got any other thoughts, just general, about patch 2.0 before we jump into the future of Destiny 2?
What's your overall feel, man, fellas? What you feel?
I mean, positive. I think I've said enough about it. I mean, other than I think the last thing I would just say is, I mean, I hope that it draws more people to the game.
Yeah.
Overall, and I think that I like that it they have done a lot to just allow that a lot of accessibility at the start of it to the people who have had the game since vanilla, or I mean, even the fact that there's going to be Gambit and all that at least free for the first 24 hours. That's going to be great. Or for September 1st.
Yep.
That's all good stuff. So that's the last thing I would say.
Shout out to PlayStation, by the way. It is free this weekend, so if you want to play on PlayStation.
Glad you mentioned that. Glad you mentioned that.
It's free already, so you can download it and be ready to try Gambit, and you don't even have to buy it. So.
Yep. Really cool. But yeah, it's I mean, things are more than going in the right direction. So yeah, patch 2.0, loving it. It's just experimenting, having fun. And like Scream said, man, all of these things are bullet points to what the community has been wanting and screaming. And for the people, especially who were D1 diehards, they left the game, they were disgusted with the direction, and to see all these things and these bullet points come back of things that they wanted. Because you remember when we had Doc Amnesia on, he wrote the powerful piece as to why, Destiny was in such a bad state and what they would have to do to even bring it back, as well as why he loved D1 and how D2 was like a bastardization of it. Like he went in, and the community really rallied behind that article. So literally to see every bullet point, weapon slot changes, random rolls, this, that, it's just really refreshing to see. And I'm glad now, we have Fonzarelli in the chat right today, this is somebody who's Destiny 1 diehard. I remember when it came out and he's like, I'm done. I remember so many hardcore guys saying, I'm done. This is not my Destiny. And to see them now as hype as they are, as excited, and everyone's coming back, they are more than headed in the right direction. So I'm confident.
Yeah. I mean, I'm on board with you guys. Like, the stuff I'm seeing, the changes, the feel of the game now, and if they follow through with whatever if they've set on the tee and actually blast that thing off of there and just do it right, I think they've set up something great. They just can't botch it, because this is like they've thrown the world into this, and if they do it right, awesome. If for some reason there's something we don't know about where it's like a lot shorter or things are disconnected or whatever, and we'll get to some of the future stuff here in a bit. Yeah. But generally, I think Forsaken is going to be in a really good place, and I think Gambit is going to be that third pillar of variety that's going to give people a break from doing either Crucible or Strikes or Raids. Like, what's that other thing? Now you've got that third. It's like your Zombies mode for Call of Duty. It's something different, still within your game. So,
good point.
But yeah, so that pretty much wraps up the patch notes, guys. We do want to touch on the other giant piece of news that dropped, which is basically year 2 of Destiny 2. There's a lot to cover. So there was a really cool Vidoc. We'll get to one piece that kind of blew me away, because it was Deej's little GIF that he tweeted out, and I about fell out of my chair when I saw it. That was the first thing I saw. I was like, holy, okay. Yeah, so we know what that's going to be in a sec. But yeah, they do a little breakdown of stuff to come, like the breakdown about what each part of the annual pass is going to hold. So watch the Vidoc. I'm not going to go through that on here, but we're going to go through and discuss what is to come with the annual pass and the seasons and everything that we're going to get. And I want to get your guys' thoughts on that as well. So fall, everything come with Forsaken. We know most of it. So 2.0 we've got already. Most of the Sandbox updates, director, all that good stuff. This weekend, remember, Gambit is free 24 hours, no matter the platform, September 1st, 10 a.m. Pacific, 24 hours from there. So jump in, enjoy it. I'm probably going to play a whole bunch of that because I want to get a good feel for it. September 4th, it launches Triumph's weapon slot updates again, apparently. A weapon slot preview. I guess there's more. Collections, random rolls, loot, mattering on every single piece that drops. Like, all that stuff is coming in the giant story. Dreaming City should open potentially with the campaign. That's kind of my guess, is we're going to have, like, Tangled Shore, go through the campaign, and then as the campaign leads into the end game, that's, I'm sure, when that'll open. Raid starts September 14th. 10 days. So good. Like, I think that's also a good sign for how much we've got to do. Because if it was smaller, they might want to be like, hey, here's the raid real quick. But if if they're saying 10 days, then I think we know there's a decent amount of stuff to do. We know Iron Banner is coming. We get a new Crucible map with that. So we already get some Crucible maps with just Forsaken in general. Getting another Crucible map straight up on the 18th with Iron Banner, which is cool. We get the new mode Breakthrough for competitive, I think that one is.
Yes.
That's the running back and forth. Isn't that like win the point kind of in the middle and then push for them? Isn't that the way that thing works?
Believe so, yeah.
Yeah. And then new Crucible maps. Oh, I guess the new Crucible maps are live on the 25th. Weird.
Oh, yeah.
I guess that's the way they're doing that. So new maps on the 25th. I guess they're going, hey, here's all your PvE stuff. Okay, now here's your influx of PvP. Festival of the Lost will return for October. So all of you guys get your cosmetics on. And then more stuff with weekly playlist updates, the evolution of the Dreaming City, and other, quote, surprises. So just for fall, how you guys feeling?
A lot to do, man. I'm feeling good. Like each, I think that's one thing Destiny 2 has done well over D1, which is the little bit more consistency with events and things to do in a sequence. And I love this whole roadmap vibe they're on, where you're getting to see, okay, this is coming up here. Okay, boom. Okay, then that's coming. All right, raid, we got on the 14th. It puts all these mental notes in your head. Yeah. For something upcoming. And that's how I've been feeling all summer. Like, I've literally been feeling like, okay, banner, this is the last banner coming. Okay, boom. And the faction run. Okay, boom. Oh, wow. Whisper the Worm. Okay, boom. It's like this, all these little, next week. Can't wait for weapon changes. You see what I'm saying? So it's like, they're really smart at keeping you locked in, without going away too long. And I love it. I absolutely love it. I think that's the thing that D2 has done well over D1. Now, you can argue about the quality of the events and all that other stuff. That's another argument. But as far as consistency and giving you mental target dates in your mind just to look forward to, I think they've done a great job.
Nice. Yeah. Scream, what about you, man? What do you think on this first season of The Outlaw?
Whew, I'm out of breath.
You didn't even say anything yet.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I think it speaks for itself. It's a lot of good stuff. I like the spacing of it, and that it's almost like every week you're going to be getting something new for that first month and a half. I really am looking forward to. As far as like September 18th, September 25th, I feel like I'm going to be just going crazy in this game, but. They could have released all of this at the same time, possibly. I kind of like the fact that essentially it's all in the game. It's just ready, kind of to be unlocked. And I sort of like that. I like the spacing of it. It's going to be a really, really fun few months.
Yeah, man.
It's going to be a really fun year.
Oh, yeah.
Looks like it because we got a lot of stuff to talk about. But, yeah, Iron Banner comes back with Power Mattering. And as it's in the 18th and the game's only going to be out for 2 weeks, literally, doing the raid, working on the in-game stuff as much as possible, there's going to be probably a disparity in power levels for a little while, so we'll see how much that actually matters. But I know the power levels in D1 didn't matter that much. It never felt like they did, but something about Iron Banner still just always felt a little better, and I could never put my finger on it, so I'm really looking forward to see how that feels when it comes back. New maps are always cool. Gambit is going to be that third. It's like, I know Gambit, like everyone out there has played it. You've played it. Every conference around the world has had a chance to get their hands on it. But I'm just hoping I spend as much time in there as I'm hoping I will, and then I'm really not going to be able to put this damn game down. Because it's going to be like, oh, I got to level up, but I want to try Gambit, but I want to try PvP now, but I want to do Gambit,
Yep.
but I work on my level, but I got to work on my rank. It's like, oh my god, like, so much stuff to do in a really good way. And as you said, this first month and a half alone is packed with these nice little staggered releases, the rotation of the Dreaming City, like what's in there, where am I going to be, what new stuff are we going to find, like,
Yeah.
and every
that's
single
rough.
every drop you get, I'm going to be like, all right, what I get. Every
I
time.
know. I can't wait to be like that again. I can't wait to do like the mass opening of like stuff. Like I'd go through every single little nuance of it. Like, oh, should I
Yeah, like
get
vendor
Mhm.
rolls for the week. What are those going
Yeah.
to be? I still
Yeah.
don't know what the reset cadence is going to be. Like I was talking to Cognito last week, and I think I haven't heard somebody else say it. I think it's probably going to be a Tuesday and a Friday. Because if you do 4 days, it's going to get really funky. Because the week
Yeah.
is only 7 days long. So I'm thinking Tuesday, Friday, middle of the week, and your weekend would make sense. And then you're not going too far off. But if they did like just truly 4 days, you get like Monday, Friday, Wednesday, Saturday, Thursday, Sunday. It's going to get real funky after a little while. So I don't know if they're actually going to do that or not. But so that is what comes with Forsaken. If you don't have the annual pass, you still are going to be getting everything that is considered in a seasonal update. So that's all going to be on the left side of this chart. On the right side is the annual pass. And just a cheesy plug reminder, my giveaway includes the annual pass. So you're going to be playing all of year 2. So
Right.
Forsaken and annual pass coming with shameless plug. I'll put a link out there for you guys towards the end and on the videos and stuff. But December. So we are starting with Black Armory. So before I jump into the actual expansion, free seasonal update. This is my one, and I lost it. Heavy machine guns return. I
What?
pretty much just exploded in my head.
How did I not know this?
You didn't know that?
How did I not know that? I like to save stuff for.
Well, here you go.
Thank you for surprising. I like to be surprised live.
All right, we'll scream live reactions. Heavy machine guns coming back. Give it to me. What do you got?
Well, to be honest, I had heard a rumor about this, but nothing confirmed. So now knowing it's confirmed, I can't wait to use my heavy machine gun again. I always loved the heavy machine gun. It was one of those things where when you got that and if you were on a roll and then it was like,
yeah.
oh man,
5-6 kills, get another heavy bucket.
and even throwing whenever I would pick up the heavy with the heavy machine gun, if I had a super, I would immediately do it. Or no, I would just, you would always try to chain those two.
Yeah.
But I remember, like the best plays would be like, you just come out of that, you super like 2 or 3 guys, and then you just go ham with a machine gun. And they're all coming at you because they just saw everybody like died in an area, or you just took a point and you just line them up, and it was so much fun.
Yeah,
Visceral
man.
fun.
Absolutely,
What about
man.
you, Cognito? I hadn't really quite dove into your
Yeah,
thoughts
we
on
never
heavy
got,
machine guns.
yeah, we never got a chance to talk about it. I was always a machine gun guy. That was my thing. Like I'm thinking the Thunderlord days and the, what is it, Quillis Terminus? What was it?
Quillam's Terminus.
Quillam
Man, I
Terminus,
mowed a
yeah.
whole
Oh.
bunch of people down with that thing.
Man, I had some machine guns, man. Yeah, I loved them. I absolutely loved them. And it's just like Stream said, you can really get on a roll with them, man. You really can. So I'm dying to see how they play out in this meta, you know, and obviously with all the newer weapons and stuff to compete and stuff like that. But those things were always good. So when I saw that cinematic, them loaded it, I said,
It
oh,
was just 2 seconds, and that's all I needed. I was like, I didn't need. You could just
Let's
give me that
go.
for the teaser, and I'm good.
yep, that
And-
was great.
I will say this also, like, harkening back to something you said before, where it's kind of like you guys were playing some PvP, or you were playing some PvP, and you weren't really going for the heavy all that much.
Yeah.
Because you have your sniper or you have your shotgun, and they're really, really strong. If you have a machine gun in a heavy spot, you're gonna go for that heavy.
It's true.
No matter what your
Mhm.
special is, because that thing is just such an equalizer, and it's just so much fun.
Oh, just do
yeah.
done, do done, do. Just like start mowing them down. I love doing that. I'd have to look up the map names. I'm so terrible at that sometimes. But yeah, I still remember a couple. You just get it. You'd like come around the corners. You just walk around like, cause it'd be 20 something bullets, and if you could get 3 or 4 or 5 together, it was always the Machine Lord perk that I want. Every time I picked up that heavy ammo, I wanted Machine Lord because it's 3 kills without reloading. I was like, that was my goal like every time. So no, I can't wait for these to come back.
Nice.
But we get new weapons, new Crucible content, which is I don't know what that is. Is it just like another map? If they're working on another mode, we'll just have to see. Gameplay updates, seasonal ranks, just kind of all the general stuff that you'll get. But heavy machine guns is huge.
Big time.
Now, same time, we also get the annual pass Black Armory. Now, they speak about this a little bit in the Vidoc, and basically they say the Black Armory is some of the most legendary weapons the Light has ever created, and now we're going to have access to it. My feel on this one, kind of, I hope it's not like another Lighthouse thing all over again. Grind the hell out of these random little drops for your basic public events. Like, give me quests to go do these things. Give me a reason to go find these new weapons. But the fact that we get access to, quote, the Black Armory, I guess we're going to have to see. But we also get a new Forges of the Chain activity. What do you think?
Yeah, Forges of the Chain. I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm trying to. This is all guesstimating. So
Guesstimate.
yeah, I think Forges of the Chain. I don't know. Maybe some type of PVE kind of group activity. I'm really confused. I'm actually just more, to be honest with you, I'm more enamored by like this EXO and this, what's the story behind this?
Just this
Like
black,
that's
like,
where I'm at right
futuristic.
now.
Yeah,
I haven't even got depth into the whole minutia of all the modes and stuff. Like I want to know what's Black Armory about. Who's holding this, and then obviously, underneath that we have a raid layer. So very curious where that goes. So that this new figure is this mysterious figure is what I'm all intrigued about.
Yep. So that one looks cool. New exotics, new legendaries, new triumphs and collections, bonus rewards, and one little thing. Side note: if you guys saw the stuff about the actual triumphs and the lore, the name kind of like nameplates that you're gonna get. There's only a few of them, and they said they're really, really hard to get. But if you do, like, it's actually going to show under your name. What do you guys think about those? I've seen them in a couple other games.
Mm-hmm.
That's a cool thing. That's a fun thing to grind for.
Yeah.
It's like a Halo thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Yeah. So just something you can hang, and you can choose. Like if you're like, hey, I got all the lore, but I'm not like the raid master. Everybody's gonna have a couple different ones, but they said they're gonna be really hard to get, so it's gonna take checking a lot of boxes. So that pretty much wraps up December. Black Armory does sound cool. This raid layer definitely sounds like it's, I would say, very attached to, hopefully more attached to at least everything with the Forsaken. Like, it doesn't seem disconnected. It feels like hopefully this will connect. The next one, or the last one, maybe not. We'll see.
Looks like an evil EXO raid.
Yeah, seriously, it's like quite dark.
Love it.
Second, spring 2019, which you guys know that could be a very long time, but Season of the Drifter. So we're going to get Gambit. We don't know much about the guy who's running this thing. But the general idea, the expansion is Joker's Wild. Season of the Drifter, we get new weapons, Crucible, Iron Banner. Very odd that Iron Banner is just a thing in there. I'm not sure why that's listed there unless it's an update to it. Gameplay updates, seasonal ranks, and some event of the season. I'm sure it's Crimson or whatever it's going to be. Who knows? But the annual pass content is all about Gambit. So it's going to be an evolution of Gambit itself. So I guess take all the feedback they get and transform it. Maybe new maps. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I'm just again. This I'm just loving consistent content.
Yeah,
that's where I'm at, man. I am loving consistent, and I'm loving. I want to know about dude. I want to know what's going on with him. So yeah, this is just exciting, man. This is really exciting. We're getting to paint this stuff out. So Joker's Wild. I spoke to one of my boys. He's like, I want him to be the new Hunter Vanguard. Somebody said that for the gym. I don't even know if it's on or whatever, but yeah, this looks cool. I want to see what these activities are about. I have no idea. I'll be completely honest. Like they're going in different directions, and with newer characters and new entities. So I'm very curious. What about you guys?
Gambit is 4v4.
I think so. Yep.
Yeah, I mean, with Iron Banner being in there, I don't know, maybe a 6v6 Gambit mode, and that would kind of also talk about how Gambit is going to evolve. Maybe it just incorporate more stuff from kind of picking from other playlists a little bit, or maybe just an Iron Banner Gambit. I don't know, like.
Mhm.
I mean, but yeah, overall, just a lot of great content. I mean, it looks like there's just gonna be a constant flow of new stuff to do. But yeah, not to speculate too much. That's what I would say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What you think, E? What do you think?
I mean, just this is kind of in line with what they said. They want more things. They want more escalation protocols. They want more activities for us to do. And I like that this is bringing some new activity, Forges of the Chain activity, new activity experience. It's not just like, here's another thing. Here's another strike and and 3 missions and then a map. It's like there's something different to do in the game. Even if it's like more of still, if it's another version of, I forget what the new one is called. But even if it's another escalation protocol or a variation of something, like if it's just more of something else that you can go queue up and go do, cool. Like that's just adding more into our game that we already have apparently way too much stuff to do anyway. But yeah, new exotics, things like that, cool. But yeah, a Gambit evolving, like I could see 6s. Maybe just different enemy sets. Maybe it changes and this will obviously be a point to where like they're going to take like 6 months of feedback and put it into it. Like they're going to take the first 3 months and go, okay, what can we change? What do people like? Do you do another primeval? Can you spawn something crazy? Are blockers too easy to get? Like change all of that stuff and take their feedback. So I'm sure that's their time to say Gambit 2.0 type situation, or maybe at least 1.5.
Yeah. And I like the fact that they're thinking ahead, of evolving the mode. And you just nailed some great points. It's just one of those things where it's like you like when you see these expansions, new experiences, new things that they're constantly adding, and that's great. It extends the life of the game, and then you're gonna have pockets of people who are gonna come to play just for specific modes because they love them so much. So expand the population, the gaming community. I think this is all good stuff. They're really in the right direction, and this sounds great. This really sounds great. And the fact that they're outlining these activities so early with expansions, as opposed to how like Curse of Osiris and Warmind, it was just like Curse of Osiris and Warmind, expansion 1 and 2. We're not telling you anything, that kind of thing. Like I love this whole transparency and letting us know what's going on ahead.
Yeah, I mean, it's just nice to have some idea of what you're buying. I mean, you're not going to go everything. We're not going to know exactly the idea, but I mean, they're giving you pieces. So you're like, what do you get with your annual pass? They've actually laid a lot of it out, like definitely more than we ever did with year 1. It's like Curse of Osiris. What do we get? Well, do we get a raid? Do we not? We didn't even know, like all those pieces. So the final one you may have a little contention with, but we'll get to that in a second. We have first, which is how I love the way this is portrayed, and that's why I think I'm probably okay with it. Season of the Redacted. New weapons, new crucible. Again, Iron Banners. That, I mean, we know it's an ongoing thing, but why is it listed just as an ongoing piece of your, it's still in your weekly rotation, basically? Like,
Yeah, they pumping their chest out with this Iron Man.
yeah, I was like, we know. Gameplay
We
updates,
get it.
season ranks, that's the basics. But so Season of the Redacted, they basically state this one is going to be the people loved the most that Whisper Quest, like the feedback they got about that, the secrets that we discover, the way it's unlocked, the way everything works. They want more of that stuff, and this is honestly one of the best ones. I can't wait for. Now it seems to look like in pictures and what they're working on to be related to the Leviathan. So that's where that's where the raid lair may be connected. Don't know why, how, or otherwise. So we'll just have to see. I know. I was like, I don't know. But if it's secrets and it's some other twist on what's going on, if it connects slightly, at least by the time summer comes around, it's something different to do. I know we have a new activity experience. That's kind of a general thing. But like the fact that it is based just on the secrets, I'm at least intrigued. And it's far enough out that, hopefully the evolution will work. I was kind of hoping to be done with the Leviathan, though. What do you guys think?
Yeah, me too.
Oh, really? Were you? What do you think, Scream? What do you think of the idea of like spending like a year away from the Leviathan and still actually potentially going back?
It depends on what, I mean, that's so far away. It just depends on how they do it. If it's interesting, it'll be interesting. If it fits a narrative that's I don't know how all of this stuff is going to wind together by then. You know, I mean, who knows where the story is going to be going at that point? But you know, if it's something along the lines of what they did with the Whisper Quest, you know, as far as I think all things like that are always good. It just is, as long as it's fun, you know, as long as it's not easy and you know, kind of feels like you're finding out a secret. That's what's good. So, you know, I'll leave it at that, I guess.
Cognito, what about you, man? Would you got any really official like yay nay? Just screw it, get this out of here, or has the secrets piqued your interest even a little bit? Big sigh. Catch that breath.
I'm done with the Leviathan, man.
I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure at least in that Vidoc it looked like it.
Done with the woods, man. Let's go.
Man, bro, it's just like, listen, I get it. There's more secrets to be found. We didn't have any conclusion at the end of, you know, season 1 or whatever with the Leviathan. I get that. It just, I gotta call this one out. I'm sorry. Listen, they're doing so much good things, and I'm gonna nitpick. You know, I will only take what I'm about to say back if they do what Scream does, and this narratively has some cohesive end, right? If they do that and put a cherry on top, like how they, you know, cohesively going with Cage thing, and if they do that continuously, I'll eat my words. But for right now, to see in summer 2019 the Leviathan again, I'm like, bruh, this is a little too much for me. So, you know, Callus has to answer these questions, I guess, and let us grow fat from strength. What's it? Whatever his little, you know, slogan is. You know, I don't know. What are we gonna do now? We went apartment 2A. We cleaned out the garage. We got up to the top of the spire. We saw some random dude who no one knows who he is. We didn't get any conclusion. So I guess this is where their way of saying, okay, no, you're gonna really find out. And okay, fine, but I just want a new area. I'm just done with the Leviathan. Like I'm just like, come on, man. Don't get me wrong. It's a beautiful looking raid. It looks aesthetically, it's cool. But if they're not doing something really cataclysmic and really story cohesive, they can throw this in the bushes. I'm using King's expression. I think they can throw this thing in. I am so done with it. I really was hoping for completely new activity. But again, I'll preface this by saying I will eat my words if they really wrap this thing up with a bow on top and narratively give us some really cool, you know, reward, cliffhanger, or callous resolution. Rant over.
No, you're good. I mean, that's why I was kind of wondering. Even I saw it too. I'm like, that looks like that. Really? Like, it feels like Forsaken. You've got the hunt. You've got the evolution into the Dreaming City. From at least what my guess can hopefully be, my fingers crossed that's right. Like that connection is huge, and it's just gonna roll into it. Then you've got this like Black Armory dark thing. Feels like it could, you know, what if the Black Armory is in like the Ascendant realm of the Dreaming City or something? That feels
rich, bro.
Gambit, you know, totally linked to our new mode. Gotta delve into it. What's going on with that guy? Cool.
And there goes the Leviathan.
And then bam, you're like, wait, what?
Sticking out like a sore thumb. Like really? That's how I felt. I'm like, yo, Black Armory. Ooh, okay.
Just I mean, like unless this is like the connection of like the penumbra. I looked up the definition is like literally the place between the light and the dark of the sun. It's literally a point where it actually like crests on an eclipse. And like, unless this is the point where, hey, we're using our light, we're, you know, going to clean up the Leviathan, explode that ship, bail out of there. And then the teaser at the end of this is like Destiny 3 Space Doritos. Like, I need some connection to, and this is like what Dizzy's saying in chat. He's like, so is no one else uncomfortable with this giant hive warship that we awoke? And also the fact, like, so Oryx's ship is sitting out there. You've got the Almighty, the Leviathan. Mercury is broken. Like, all this stuff is sitting out in the universe, and we're just like, yeah, we're going to go help Cade. And, like, I can understand Zavala to a small, tiny bit to be like, there are big pictures, too. But it's like, I mean, you got to take care of Cade. But also, yeah, there's some big stuff out there, and we need some answers on some of those. So I don't know if it's D3, Year 3. But, yeah, there's some big stuff still in the universe, and we need to clean up our solar system here before we...
Mhm.
kind of figure out what's next. So I
I'll,
don't.
I'll forgive all of it if Kalish gives us a new subclass, and that's the true extra, and we're gonna fight the space Doritos with that, and that's D3. Then all is forgiven.
If you guys don't know what I mean by Space Doritos, the end of the vanilla trailer when the light goes all the way out into the middle of nowhere and those things wake up, that's what I'm talking about. So,
Yeah,
black Space Doritos.
little black space Doritos.
Yeah.
I was gonna say that you probably would get something from Callus that is helpful. Like,
A little teaser for that one. Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like that's probably if you were going to revisit it narratively, I think that's how it would work best.
But let me ask you this, Screen. I mean, honestly, maybe I'm just overreacting. Maybe it's just me. Like, how did you feel when it's kind of inferred pretty much that we're going back there to the
Like, I mean, again, it's is it like it depends on how it's done. I mean, and I know that it's we've spent a lot of time there as
Mhm.
so far, but it's almost a year from now,
Okay.
and there might be some interesting like avenues that takes. Yeah, and I mean, I could get really speculative as far as
Mhm.
like how the story could play into it,
Mhm.
but without going too far into it,
Right.
you said maybe possibly getting another subclass, your fourth subclass.
Mhm.
If that is not just okay, this is where you go to get your fourth subclass, and is somehow like, oh, you need to get it from him because of this and because he did these things in the past and this plays into that, and
Mhm.
now you have to go back and you have to do this, and maybe you go there but then you're not even really there anymore.
Mm.
I mean, you could go all day with that, but
Right.
so
So basically, you're willing to give it a
I
shot.
have some faith. I have some
Okay.
faith. Yeah, I have some
All right.
faith.
Doing better than me. I'm counting on you guys.
Uh, so yeah, do you guys think with what you see here, do you feel the annual pass is worth $30? Straight up question.
Yeah, I think so. I
Oh
feel
yeah.
so. Yeah, I feel without a question because that was the problem with D1. One thing D2 is doing well is consistency. Whether or not each piece, is going to live up to the quality level, that remains to be seen. But, from what they've outlined in each bullet point per season and per, expansion, I think I feel good about it. I feel comfortable. I'm like, look, I see where my money's going. You know, this is not and I hate to throw Bethesda under the bus. That this is not a Fallout 4 situation where it's like, hey, pay for this season pass. We're not telling you what's going to be in it, but just hey, it's going to be great. You know what I mean? Like, I like to know where my money's going. I like to know what's happening, and this is very descriptive. It's just as much as descriptive as they can be without spoiling the content, right? So yeah, I think this is good. I think this is good. I like the extra summer drop. I think that's key. That's one thing Destiny always had to drop because it was always that spring release and then that big fall release. But now that they've had a dedicated summer release, you know, and I think that's cool. And that's why I've kind of cooled on the raid layer, aspect because they're still giving us kind of like these small things, but at least it's more consistent. So that's me. I'm with it.
Yeah. I mean, as many hours, and I know hours versus what you play is one thing people hate using. But I mean, you have
Mhm.
Spider Man coming out, and people say, it's one of those if you really want to burn through it. Some people probably burn through it in like a week. I
Mhm.
mean, yeah, you'll have some replays if you want to go find all the things. God of War was really cool, but there is officially an end to this thing. The amount of hours I'm going to get out of this game, like, I'll throw $100 at the whole year for all I care, and I'd probably be okay with it because I know how much time I'm going to get. If you don't love Destiny, I mean, start with Forsaken. No one's going to twist your arm into this. You can still get
Right.
the, free updates as you go. You can get heavy machine guns. Wait for the reviews. Again,
Mhm.
no one ever says pre-order. You don't have to. Wait for the reviews if you want to, and again, you can still buy that annual pass at any point.
Mhm.
Personally, I think if they can do well enough with Forsaken, I know
Mhm.
the annual pass being 30 is like, no, it's not just like here's these little chunks. It is the full thing and you have to go all or nothing. But I
Mhm.
think that also helps not divide your player base as well. It keeps everybody on the same path. Like if you're either going Forsaken or you're going for the rest of the year, and you get your option. $40 is a buttload of content in Forsaken. So much to do, so much to explore. That's an easy sell. As for the annual pass, I'll wait and see. But for me, if you enjoy Forsaken, I think $30 to support everything that's going to come, for me, also sounds like it makes a lot of sense. So
that's the route that I always take too.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So, yeah, I mean, we've got so much to look forward to, guys. We had to do this one day early, so thank you guys for jumping in both on Twitch and on YouTube. You guys have been awesome in chat today.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we got a little crazy weekend going on so just not able to do it on our typical Friday, and the weekend's just packed. But we did want to get something in, so Thursday worked, and you guys jumped on the wagon. So thank you for watching Twitter and following us.
Much appreciated.
Final thoughts, you guys, because next time we're going to talk. I'm actually going to be out of town next Friday, so maybe we'll do Thursday night before I go, so we can get a little post-Forsaken launch.
Oh, we have to.
Next time we're going to talk, the game will be out. So you guys have any final comments? Scream if you want to start it out. Just final thoughts before we get our hands on the big one.
I can't wait. I mean, it goes without saying I can't wait, but really looking forward to random rolls again. Just doing that kind of farm again, and I know that I'm gonna spend many hours just like I'm looking forward to many hours of just looking through my postmaster and my bank, doing nothing else but just going through stats of weapons. That's really something I love doing. Yeah, my little treasures. So that's what I'm looking forward to. And
yeah, man. Yeah, we're on the cusp, man. We're here. We're here. It's kind of surreal, right, E? I don't know. It's just we're here. Like it's coming. So I'm really shout out Def in the chat. Yeah, man. Like I'm so excited. I'm so excited. I think they've done everything correct leading up. I know first day, as soon as that thing goes live, like I'm off work that whole week.
Yeah, you're gonna pass me up because I'm still working. So I got about 24 hours from when it launches till I go in the next day. So I got some time. So.
I know myself, this was just too much, too special, and I knew I wouldn't want to go to work. So I feel you. I feel the discipline.
Yeah.
So, but nah, man, it's just look, man, we're here. I'm excited. Just like Scream said, random rolls especially is going to be big. And to me, I'm really hyped for the campaign. I'm so hyped. I just want to see where this thing leads, how they handle it, and hopefully it's not like a Warmind situation. We get all the pieces kind of laid out in a nice way, and just grinding and seeing all the new things that come with it, the new exotics and the sense of exploration. Those are things that make Destiny. We're getting a little taste now with the weapon changes, but man, I can't wait. I can't wait. We are here. Tuesday is the day. Cannot wait. Beyond pumped. Beyond, and I even talked about the subclasses. Like, can't wait to put those through the paces. I think it's just going to be all about putting things through the paces after the campaign's done, seeing or unearthing the secrets, and just that the thing that makes us all love Destiny again. Just to see everybody come together on that day is going to be really fun to see. So hype.
Nice. Yeah, I mean, I'm with you guys because I'm just literally like can't itch, and I'm sure the scratch of Gambit is just going to open a whole different box of like, all right, there goes another 100 and 200 hours just like diving into the ranks there. It's like there's not going to be enough time. I think Dizzy said it right. It was just like, or actually Death Singer did. He's like, cannot wait to get into the story. He's like, no party invites. Yeah, I'm shutting down while I play that story. I don't want like my friend who wants to go through the story and skip the campaign missions and stuff. Like, no, I'm doing that on my own time, exploring. I'm gonna enjoy that
in the middle of the night.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna play till I pass out that night, I'm sure. Yeah. So that'll be kind of a long night, but so much to look forward to. Dreaming City has me so intrigued. Like that's mine. I think the random rolls is huge. Like Gambit is kind of crazy, but for me, the Dreaming City is my biggest piece because I want to know how well they did with the elf world.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so I know we're going long. I know Cognito's got to get to sleep, but we had a lot to discuss. So thank you guys for hanging in there. This is we've been trying to keep them to about an hour and a half, but this one definitely went over. We got a guest, had to just roll with it. I don't know if you guys
even Forsaken, man. We knew
even Forsaken. Yeah, we knew it. Hashtag long point. Like doesn't matter. There was too much to talk about. So if you guys haven't checked it out, check it out. If you're on PlayStation, you can check it out for free.
Yes.
Gambit is this weekend. I will put my link for the giveaway that I'm doing. You guys can check it out.
Yes.
If you haven't bought it yet, or if you want to, get your refund, whatever, it's going to be all of year 2. So I'll reach out to whoever wins. We're going to figure out what you're missing to make it happen in year 2.
Nice.
Join us, listen. Thank you all. And again, let you guys do your sign-offs. Scream. All right, let's wrap this thing up.
Well, thank you guys for having me again. You can find me at Wilhelm Scream Media on YouTube and Wilhelm_Scream/Destiny2 Intel on Twitter. And again, appreciate everybody. Thank you guys so much. Love talking.
Scream, a pleasure to have you, man.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Thank you.
Yeah, full show with you, man. This is good. This is much needed. So much fun. Yeah, man. Lord Cognito here. You can find me on Twitter at Lord Cognito. And obviously, the Iron Lords podcast every Sunday, 1 p.m. Eastern on the Inner Circle Network. We will have one of our Patreon guests, one of our old OG gamers, Optimus Code. So it should be really fun. Get to reminisce about some gaming stuff and obviously the latest topics. And we might throw a little Destiny in on the eve. We'll see. Maybe we'll wait until after it's released. And then
for Iron Lords, yeah, you guys might have to wait till next week.
We have to wait for next week because then the hype will be out there, and then it'll be more in the wild, so that kind of thing. But yeah, we're gonna have some good topics to talk about. Multi-platform is of course, and Flashpoint, man. We got to get back to this again. We're figuring Thursday, right, E? Because I know you're out of town Friday.
Yeah, probably it would be, if anything, probably Thursday night. If anything changes, it might be back to Friday morning. It just depends on when I leave. And it might be about the same time as we're doing now. Just got to see. It might have to be somewhat abbreviated if it's Friday morning. We'll see what times are looking like. But Thursday night, Friday morning, follow us on Twitter. That's usually where we kind of get those updates out. Once we know, we'll start trying to post up for that one because I can't say that one's going to be short either because we're going to have a lot of stuff to dive into there.
Yeah, we'll be in the wild. Forsaken.
Seriously, just so it's like, what's your best roll? How's Gambit? Like, so many stories are going to happen. So,
yeah,
like, how many clutch victories have you had melting that Primeval, or did you get the invasion and get it launched? So, nope, lots to look forward to, guys. So yeah, tune in, follow us on Twitter, on right here on Twitch for both of you guys. Iron Lords podcast is theirs. I'm Ebontis everywhere. Twitch, Twitter, YouTube. Follow, subscribe to us, guys. Especially that definitely helps grow our channels.
Yes,
and get yourself in that
giveaway, y'all.
Yeah, jump in. So that thing ends Sunday at noon. So pretty much right when you're gonna go live doing Iron Lords, I'll be done. So
nice.
That will be wrapping up. I'll reach out to the winner, make sure we get you guys in the game, and thank you guys. So it's been awesome. It's fun, and I think our morning is just about wrapped. So I think we're out. Thank you guys for everything. We'll see you soon.
Peace. Nice.